Hello, one and all! Welcome to another exciting episode of A Crown of Candy. I'm Sully, your humble dungeon master, and with me, as always, are our intrepid heroes. Say hi, intrepid heroes. Y'all not gonna stop. Y'all gonna have to stop fucking up my intro. Last, we left our wonderful, sweet candy heroes. They were in the capital city of Comida, the seat of the Concordant Empire atop the Great Pyramid of Food. And there had been a great tournament and an attempt on King Amethar's life. Now, unfortunately, the result of that tournament was not satisfactory to our Candian Crusaders, as none of them won their events. But instead, the winner of the bout being one Annabelle Cheddar of the Dairy Isles. Yeah, but like, there's not like prizes for first, second, and third. Stuff like that. A deep raspberry glow in the sky as the sun lowers in the west over the West Pulp Bay. The smell of fruit has now washed its way over Comida. You guys find yourself at the end of the tournament. Again, you see that Amethar there, kind of wounded, not being really sure of what he's, what has happened necessarily. This is moments after the tournament. What do you guys want to do here? Does anybody else wish to do something? Follow any leads or anything like that?
Where is everybody?
Mostly all the people. So you're looking at the grand melee. They've kind of been ushered off. The combatants have been ushered off. A lot of the spectators have kind of left.
Monsters just left for dead?
No, Scrivoya.
Sure, yeah.
Would you call her the monster?
Basha.
No, Basha is her husband. No, Scrivoya. I guess I can go ahead and clear that. Scrivoya.
They were like, she too heavy, you fuck this bitch.
Scrivoya has been ushered off, and whatnot, leaving Annabelle Cheddar to kind of like, you see that she's over there being praised by a lot of her shipmates and stuff like that, for her win. Anybody else? You're not in the grand melee unless you want to be unconscious lying in the sand.
I thought we were in one of these.
No.
That's where we were last time.
That is not where you were last time. You were the last one left. You were in the sand. Yeah, the fours decided is all reserved for the royal families of the different kingdoms. The only people that were in there were the people who got KO'd relatively early, such as Amethar, such as Red. Calroy was up there the whole time since Amethar was competing. All right, you guys are. So you guys leave there. You guys arrive back at your quarters there in the Grand Pyramid of Food. You see that the Tart Guard kind of takes their positions. You were surrounded by them as they kind of like stand on the outside of the door there, protecting your quarters. And then like outside of that are also Imperial Guard. You see like more Imperial Guard inevitably show up there, and with them Sir Morris Bree actually like comes with the contingent of Dairy Islanders to ask for like a brief audience with the king. Red, you're the one who's kind of like standing guard, but you see Morris kind of approaches again, asks for a brief audience with the king. You see he doesn't object. You see that Amethar grants it. He and Morris are, they're old friends. You see that Morris says, Your Majesty, sorry we weren't at the tournament. We heard about the attempt on your life. And if you wish for us to stand guard at the quarters, then we would be honored to do so. You see Amethar's like, there's no need. We have what we need between the Imperial Guard and the Candians. But you make sure you keep a cool.
Insight check on that?
Sure, go ahead. What are you attempting to gauge here? Okay. With a 15, I'm going to send you a little message here. So you see that. You see he nods and he says, the Duchess's safety is of course our first priority. And you see that like Manta Ray comes in, looks up, and he like for once has like his serious face on, isn't joking, looks over and he goes, right, well, I'll say this. I'm not a man who likes to take the bulb's judgment in his own name, but if there is any justice granted by the bulb above, then I'll send who stabbed you in your back to the deepest pits of the hungry one's stomach, and that's for certain. And you see he just spits on the ground. Just fully spits. You see he salutes Amethar, takes off. You guys are left here in your quarters. Yeah, so you guys are left here in your quarters. So yeah, does anybody you being in your quarters now, the day's relatively over. Is there anything you want to do? Anything you guys wish to discuss amongst yourselves, or anything like that? Grassini is not around currently. No. Probably to like the Imperial Barracks or something. Like so, not particularly. He got KO'd after you, so like you would have seen him leave, but not necessarily where he went.
Do I know? Would I know where Annabelle is?
So all of the royal families, essentially, like most of them are you kind of sort of by like alliance. So the Dairy Islanders and the Candians are like in the same hallway, but like it's a long hallway, almost like you're not even in the same building. But like you could walk there. You know where their quarters is. It's not very far. Yeah, you probably like maybe not specifically her quarters, but if you were to go there, it probably wouldn't be very difficult. Annabelle is of royal blood, and even though she's not, she's no longer the Duchess of Lacrimore. Primsy is. So Primsy's probably the one that has the most security, and like that being said, so like you'd probably be able to tell just by common sense, like, oh, this is a royal family. They all have guards, but this guard looks like it's Fort Knox over there. That's probably where Primsy is. Okay. I mean, it's not too hard. You try to leave, and your dad kind of like is a little bit apprehensive, but you see that Calroy kind of sees him lunge after you, and is like, right, princess, do you really believe this is a good idea to be walking around? Well, can you at least let us in on where you plan to be in the hall?
Yes.
You see that Amethar just kind of like sees, and he just goes, of course, Again, serious face. Like, your dad jokes a lot and he's kind of oblivious to a lot of things. Clearly has shed that part of that, has kind of shed that right now in the current moment, and he just goes, please be careful. He goes, whatever's happening tonight is, just be careful. You see, and again, looking over at your dad, who I think you restored 6 hit points to him at the end of that bout there, something like that. Just fully beaten and bloodied. He didn't have real time to just fully bloodied, covered in scars, sort of bandaged up. The bandages are seeping still. You can smell the deep syrupy purple pink smell of candied blood on your father. And so he is still fully he has this giant great sword called Payment Day, that he's using to walk as of right now.
You mean Payday?
No, Payment Day.
Not like the candy payday.
Correct. It's called Payday. The sword is called Payday. Yeah. You're thinking of the candy. I see. You think me playing a candy food themed game of D&D would make a sword using a pun from another candy that exists in real life.
But then fuck it up and call it
Payment Day. Yeah. Because when the blade meets your neck, it's payment time.
Yeah, but yes, Father, I will be careful. I'm just walking down the hall.
You see that he kind of meets your gaze with a sense of understanding, and he just says he's very well. He's keep your wits about you, before returning back to being looked over by Calroy. But you walk down the hallway there. You see a whole bunch of these kind of milks and cheeses and whatnot, their version of the Tart Guard, but they're again these pirateer kind of swashbuckling women who are all outside of the door. But you see it the density of them gets really heavy as you go down a couple of doors. So you have the Lacrimores, Imperial, their guard. They have some Imperial Guard. Suddenly pirates. So you're probably that's probably Annabelle's room.
Suddenly, pirates. That feels like an ASDF movie. Or do I just
There are no names. No, this isn't. It's not a hotel. There's not names on the doors and stuff like that. It's pretty much this whole wing has been dedicated to the Dairy Islanders. The whole wing that you just came from is dedicated to Candians, Meatlanders, Vegetarians, etc., etc.
Can I do a insight or something to find her, or can I just find her?
Like I said, there's not really a check needed. You can pretty much tell.
Why haven't I found her yet?
She's not in the hallway.
But or can I?
It's probably the room that's being guarded by her own crewmates, her own shipmates, and not the Dairy Isle's royal guard. Do you want to knock?
Is it weird if I just walk in her room?
They're probably not going to let you just walk into her room. If you request an audience, that's one thing, but you wouldn't be able to just walk into the king's or the queen's or the princess's room.
And she, as I recall, is none of that.
Right, but she is still of royal blood. She is still Primsy's she's still Primsy's cousin. He says, he knocks on the, just again one of these women. She's got a bandana on her head. You see, just has a whole bunch of these kind of it's a rope that's fashioned around her. Or you see that she probably does the rope work and stuff on the ship and whatnot. Has a saber at her side. missing one of her legs, full peg leg. Um, you see that, but it's like one of those, like, the peg leg is like one of those, like, small, like, cheese forks. Uh, you see that she opens the door and she goes, Annabelle, you've got a visitor. You see that Annabelle walks to the door, takes the door, opens it. Annabelle, who's gear for the moment, like her captain's coat is off. Her shirt that's been kind of slashed up from the melee is a little bit ripped up, is off on the side. She's pretty much like fully like topless for the most part, except she's got like bandages all around her chest there. You see that she's like currently undoing the bandages that are like around her knuckles and her hands and stuff. And you see her hair's fully down at this point. Like usually she keeps it up so that it stays underneath her captain's hat.
Hair. It's short.
It is short, but it's still usually kept up. It's not like it's like a bob. It is like a bob, but she does have to like. You see that it's like messy, kind of like unkept at this point. Before she greets you at the door, and she goes, "Oh, hello there. You hear?" She goes, "You hear to grovel at the hands of at the feet of a champion." She goes, "All right, then what is it?"
Two things.
She goes, "In all due respect, Your Highness." She goes, "I find armor a bit a wee tad restricting when you're fighting on the open seas."
Cannot wear 99% of armor out there, but I was maybe you've like a person like.
She goes, "You think?" She's like, "You think I would take all of my closest friends, board a ship, ride sail all the way across the yogurt shoals, just to wind myself here in Comida? For what? Yes, I have friends. No, I wouldn't come to Comida for no reason."
What? No, that wasn't the question at all. Do they make armor? Do you have any friends that make armor or like make special things? I just need.
She goes, "Aye, but not here." Make a perception check.
Two.
Oh wow.
Could be worse.
I mean, not that you can tell. Obviously the sailors are there in front of
Can
you.
I whisper?
You can
I'm
whisper.
gonna whisper. I don't know why I asked, but I'm gonna whisper. Um.
Oh, you sure the man isn't just getting old in his wee ears?
I'm quite sure, and if you could keep your down voice down, it'd be lovely. Because he has a. That I had to. I.
She goes, "Well, it'd be impossible for me to give you any sort of insight without me seeing your dad's wound. You can't just see if I've ever seen somebody been stabbed, because darling, I'd say I've seen many a fighter be stabbed.
I just meant, do you know anybody who'd be after my father? You hear things. You're from out.
So let me get this straight. You see that she goes, and you see that at this moment the door opens like slightly more. She fully like stands to her full height. Not that it's much taller, but at this point she's fully like now like first I was curious, but now you have my attention. She goes, so you think that while we were in the fighting pit, somebody made an attempt on your father's life, yes?
That's what everyone is saying.
Right. So you're implying that there was an assassination on the king's life. The king of Candia, no doubt.
Yeah.
Friends of our also mighty emperor.
Yeah. Why do you sound so confused? Am I not being clear enough?
Well,
No,
there was all. She goes, well, because I'm not sure you're quite thinking what you're saying. There was the only people that were in there, at least when your father was struck the ever so deadly blow, was Scrivoia, who, no offense, doesn't seem like the dexterous, sneaky blade type. She goes, Commander Grassini. She goes, Sir Caradin, you know, the ever so holy Sir Caradin. She goes, your own ambassador, Red, myself.
Fred couldn't do anything. I'm not worried about him.
She goes, myself, and of course, you, lass.
Are you? I don't. You're not listening to what I'm asking.
She goes, oh no, I'm listening. I'm just not quite sure you know what the question you're asking is.
Well, if you let me repeat. Out of any kind of running that there may be.
I hate to break it to you, lass, but your father's not really the most liked type.
What do you?
She goes,
My father is a wonderful person.
I'm sure you think that. But ever since he came to our aid in the ravaging war, you gotta understand, he's kind of shooken things up since then. Now, we like to play diplomat and say that, you know, your father's has been the king that Candia deserves. Sure. But at the same time, as much as we get our shit end of the stick, you're in the same barrel as us. He's got a lot of enemies. You're gonna need to whittle it down before asking me to...
Can you name them? 5?
She said, you see, she says, well, I can see that...
Like from every.
Nation.
Nation. From every nation?
I can't say from every nation necessarily, but like, let's see. Bosch has probably not got probably got stones in his head. But in it,
Wait, did I know the Meatlander disguise thing? Was I aware?
you were there. I'll say yes. It was made public knowledge.
Okay.
The problem was, here's where it became a little bit more secretive, is that's when the Imperial Guard showed up like, oh, sorry, we were late. And it was like, hey, let's make a deal not to tell the Imperial Guard in case they're in on it, right? But also, but when you guys were all in the carriage, it was made public knowledge, like, hey, you know, these guys were...
The, where he's like, he did. We're like, oh, you're so sure. That guy. Who is it?
Grassini?
Is that the guy you were talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. Or, you know what I'm trying to say?
I don't think Red shared that. I specifically brought that up at the end of the Grand Tournament. That's why we picked up off there, in case you guys wanted to talk or discuss or distribute any kind of information, which you didn't.
Well,
So-
not in the moment, because
No, I mean like literally like 30 minutes ago. That's why we started at the end of the Grand Tournament, in case there was anything you guys wanted to discuss or anything like that.
well,
Who didn't?
okay, he would not have.
Okay, so yeah, he wouldn't have told you. There you go.
Well,
She says, yeah, okay, so she's like, she goes, judging by who is in the melee, she goes, Scrivoio acts as
you would be able to see if. Oh, you know, you'd be
Grassini.
That's the only other person that was there.
She goes, right, so let me get this straight. You think that the captain of the Imperial Guard would make an assassination attempt? Grassini, she goes, you know, Grassini's just a pawn.
Well,
You see that she goes, you'll forgive me, I'm not too versed when it comes to the things found in the city.
oh my god, that's not the point.
And she goes, oh, well, you're welcome, your highness. She goes, sorry I couldn't be more of help. And you see she slams the door.
She's so mean. She was nice in the show.
I'm going to tell you this right now. Of the nations you have left, none of them are Candian allies. They don't even, you just said you're going to ask all the other nations.
I didn't ask if they were allies.
Right, but you understand them not being like friends of yours. They're not they don't even, you see that you request to be seen by them and they don't even open the door.
I'm a
That leaves
15-year-old child.
that leaves the Hierophant Rex of the Bulbian Church, Elizabeth, who's like the Pope. There's no way they're letting like the Princess of Candia see the Pope. You would need somebody who is like also a high-ranking member that like is your representative of like your.
Can I send a bird home?
You want to send a bird home?
Yeah.
You can do that, sure.
Request for my
Do you
to come out here.
Do you have a raven?
Dad?
You think your barbarian father has a raven?
I need to send a message home. That was in character.
I figured.
I went back to the room.
You see that he just goes, well, I mean, I didn't. How do you plan to do that?
I don't know. That's your job. She turns red. I.
So you try to tell him. He says you're not leaving this room again. So what else happens? All right, I guess we move on then. Do you stay in the room once you go in there and you talk to Red and your dad, and how you don't have a pigeon? Uh,
30 feet. Damn it. I was gonna send a flower turkey home.
yeah, you're looking for the spell like sending.
Somebody in your party definitely does not have sending.
Okay, how do you? You probably are not going to find him. There's no way your contact just follows you from
You sure?
nation.
Because it says specifically Exactly.
that you know how to contact him.
I know the local messengers, so let me find one of them
Okay.
first.
Okay.
All I know is I'm not gonna make it to the next battle if I don't get something in my AC. This is the only way I know.
I mean, you played a monk.
I know. I forgot that I had to add all that shit last time. I was like, why do I feel so weak?
Because monks suck.
They do not suck.
Monks suck.
You suck. Hurry up and give me my local messenger man.
I'm trying to think of how I want to give this to you. Because I can't just give you a way to be like, yeah, let's send a message home.
Why not? Specifically, I know local messengers. And I know how to get messages over long distances. To my snooty little criminal.
Sure. You see well, that's the thing. So you're heading back off into the city?
Well, I get, whoever would be the close.
Okay.
How is she getting out of the room with me standing?
That's what I'm getting at.
What do you think?
How are you getting out of the room? You walked in the room and Red literally said you're not leaving again.
Windows? Can I roll something?
Roll-
Yes, a window, no, a window.
Roll a d20.
A d20. This big guy.
Wait, I'm sorry. Roll a d20 to look for windows.
4.
4.
High or low? I pick low is bad.
Low is bad.
Wait,
There's no windows.
low is good.
There is a window. It's about one of those like 3-inch tall windows, but
3-inch
super
tall
super
window?
like thin.
Alright. 3-inch tall, dope. I am going to use thaumaturgy.
That doesn't stop the sound.
But the door is locked. Yeah, so you'll hear just like.
Oh God. Okay. You say that. Hmm. And the minute you say that, you wait for somebody to get the message. You see a small. It's not even like a caravan. It's just like a group, like a small group of people that are about 3 or 4 Ceresian nobles and Senator Chibata.
Okay.
He's like the head senator over at Ceresia,
Okay.
who seems to be the only one who's heard what you're saying and kind of like looks up to you.
He's a criminal. He's a criminal.
He's a senator. They're all criminals. Got him.
But the grown. I thought. I guess in my mind I thought they had to be kids, but they can be anyone.
So you say that. They don't have to be kids.
I just for some reason I thought they had to be my age. So this grown ass royal man is one of my.
You do that. You see here. Calroy knocks on the door and he goes, "Your Majesty, screaming for help outside of the window won't." He says, "Will net you nothing." Please, he goes, "Please." He goes, "I understand that you are defecating, Your Majesty, but," he goes, "you understand that I am your father's spy master?" He goes. You see everybody goes. Oh. He goes. Huh. It's strangely not appalling in here.
Yeah, no,
Did you?
I wasn't actually pooping. Shut up, cowboy. Anywhere near the door?
I'm gonna say you weren't necessarily near the door.
Why are you standing outside a 16-year-old girl's pooping area, huh? That's weird, pedo.
You see, well, there are it's a very large room, like one of those kind of like, you know what, like hotel, like really high end hotels. They've got like these like
Near the bathroom door.
The only thing that's near the bathroom door is okay. Again, let me explain real fast. So the only thing that's near the bathroom door is probably like a stand with like a light on it. There's probably like nothing necessarily next to it because this is one large, like, again, this whole like wing is yours. You're all in this one part of like one of the rooms that makes up this whole wing. So that's like a big wing that's a bunch of sub chambers in them. These are the different rooms. So it kind of deviates into different chambers once you're into the that one big room. But all of these chambers meet in one kind of central area. I'm assuming that you were like, oh yeah, we're all gonna hang out here in this central area. That's where Amethar is anyway. But each of the rooms are their own separate bedrooms with their own separate bathrooms. Chorus kind of goes off to the one there to the side. But there's very little in the main room. There's a couple of like beautiful rugs and some tapestries that have been hung up with like the molded, like the different, these kind of like molding across the ground, that it's like a large vineyard that runs across the bottom along the floorboards there. You see that the chandelier itself is made of is a literal like typical chandelier, but it's all grapes. It's like almost like these glass grapes, these like these white grapes. The room itself is primarily like whites and grays, and then it's accented with these bright, vibrant like reds and greens and like different colors of like different kinds of fruit furniture. Big old watermelon like seats, single seats, chairs. Large couches that are like, they look like maybe like hollowed out like zucchinis or like eggplants and stuff like that. So there's very little as far as like things you can interact with in this one like main chambers there. So you pull Calroy into the bathroom.
Yes.
Okay. You see that he goes. You see he fully turns around and is staring at the door, as to like not look at you.
Right. I'm not.
Even if you were to send a message home, Your Majesty, it would take days to get there, and it would take days for them to get here.
Well.
He goes, mere moments ago, Your Majesty, an attempt was made at your father's life. I assure you, the last thing people wish to do is to associate themselves with the people of Candia as a result of us being some sort of allies out in the face of the public. If you were to if you were to find yourself visiting the local armorer, I imagine he would be so afraid to even speak to you, to let alone do business with you, for fear that his family's lives and his may be in danger.
Well, then I won't let him know who I am.
He goes, do you not think that they can see your black licorice skin?
First off, racist. Second off,
I have been the spy master for many years for your father. You are not nearly as sneaky as you think you are. You're not nearly as deceptive as you think you are. I try to stand in your way to perhaps get you to believe that you are perhaps making the wrong decision, and your father steps in every moment, every time, to save face with you as his daughter. But you need to understand that we are not in Candia anymore. Your actions here have consequences, not like they do in Candia. You don't get to just sneak off and do what you wish.
All right, I'm pooping. Get out.
He goes, very well. And you see he opens the door, closes the door. You guys see Cake Man comes out of the door, fixes his coat before, like, nodding, taking a seat next to the king. You see he takes his dagger, he takes, like, the daggers and, like, some of his swords and stuff that are on his belt, sets them on the table, finally fully sits down. And you hear a knock at the door. The front door. You hear from the outside, you go, is that, he goes, is that Red I hear in there? Please, do not be afraid, it is I. He goes, it is your friends of Surisia. It certainly does not sound like Rossini. You see he steps in and he goes, you see he opens up, giant loaf of bread, man, like, who, a lot of the times, like, the food that people are in this setting also represents their, like, body type. This is a wide loaf of bread. This is like a full-on, like, sourdough loaf, like, roll. Big old round guy comes in. Well, not so. He's not a sourdough. He is a ciabatta bread. Big old round piece of ciabatta. You see with, like, a toga on, like, floral kind of, like, crown on his head. And you say he goes, oh my. Allow me to offer my serious apologies, your Majesty. I was so worried when I heard that something was the matter. When I saw you fall in the ring, I could not stand to believe that something was so dangerous. Something was so vile was happening underneath our noses.
I'm gonna make that insight check.
Go ahead and make the insight check.
That is an out one.
You're definitely looking around the room, and you think that this guy, perhaps maybe letting something, may not be saying everything at face value. Like, he might be kind of like trying to give some sort of hidden message that's kind of like hidden in his words, essentially. Yep. You see he says, I could not bear to believe that somebody would attack our allies of Candia. And so I have enlisted the help, the aid of all of the Sarisians that I know, to make sure that your protection has been twofold, perhaps even threefold. No one will come near you as long as you are under my guise. But I wanted to perhaps pick the brain of King Amethar before I took a moment and left. He goes, Your Majesty, the royal king of Candia, you have with you a very talented individual who I think would do very well to not be cooped up inside of a room such as this. And I can assure you, he goes, I can assure you that with your permission, I can not only show her the city, but I will keep her the utmost of safe. Again, obviously with your permission, I just wish to take a walk. You see that Amethar says, "You're talking about my daughter." You see, he goes, "Ah, your daughter, yes."
You just hear a loud flush, and I open the door.
You see that standing in the doorway is the same bread dude that you call out to there at the bottom.
Oh shit, bread guy.
You see, he goes, "Oh," he goes, "Ah," he goes, "Your Highness, it is so lovely to meet you. I am unsure if either of you believe in your. I'm not sure if either of you are aware of the customs of Comida, but we are meant to mingle, not in any sort of anything." He goes, "Nothing beyond that of friendship and that of alliances, but he goes, but it has come to my attention that perhaps a stress reliever may be in order." He goes,
She just let all her stress out in the bathroom. We can take her out to mingle in the morning.
he goes, "Oh, apologies, Your Highness. I was unaware that this guard spoke on your behalf."
Oh, he doesn't.
He goes, "Then what do you say? Shall he goes, "Do you wish to?" He goes, "Do you care to join me for a walk?"
Absolutely. Like that. I just got so much PTSD.
He says, which he goes, "I." You see, he like turns to some again. He's kind of like with a handful of nobles. You see, he goes, You see, they kind of just go like, "I suppose, yeah." He goes, "I suppose. Who did he goes, who did you have in mind?"
Those things?
Frank is so your court doesn't have a court wizard.
Oh, okay. So he's not like the.
Yeah,
He's not like my
he
Theodore.
he's not the court wizard. You instead have a court alchemist.
Oh,
Because the magic is,
that's much better.
Yeah, that's who Frank is. He says, "Come." He goes, "I will be sure." He goes, He goes, "The city awaits." You see that Coward goes, I don't think this is a good idea." You see that Amethar goes, "Calroy, we have made enough enemies in Comida." He goes, "Frank will be with her, and they are under the guard of the Ceresians. But know this, Senator. Should anything happen to my daughter, know that the fury of Candia will rain upon you." And I don't. He goes, "Nowhere." He goes, "Not here, not in Ceresia, and certainly not in Candia will you be able to hide from me." And he goes, "I wouldn't dare, Your Majesty." And you see that they walk out, shut the door, and you are Okay, do that. Roll that shit.
Can I help?
Yeah, you can give him advantage.
Okay, I make my.
Okay. Roll with advantage. So roll again and take the higher one.
It was still better.
Okay. So yeah, you see that Chibata kind of just goes like, you see he fully understands, not just understands, fully understands what is being said here. That he will fully get baked.
Yeah, and I'll kick your butt.
You see that he is just like, very well, okay. You see that he escorts you out of the room. You guys fully leave the it's not like a keep, because a keep implies it's like a castle. It's more of just like a dwelling.
Like a B&B?
Kind of. But it's a lot big. It's like the whole building is like, again, that upper high end of a hotel floor. And you see that you guys spend the time kind of like walking and kind of conversing a little bit. And in the middle of that conversation, you see that he I'm going to say, because of your background, you don't know thieves can't, right? It would be a language.
I don't know. Let me check my languages, I guess. Where would that be?
Under your proficiencies at the bottom in the bottom left.
Thieves' tools? Oh, I have thieves' tools? No, just common
Okay.
infernal.
How long were we?
It probably have only been like maybe an hour.
Okay.
But you see that Chibata leads you kind of like towards like overlooking the harbor, just where like a bunch of these boats and stuff are being loaded and unloaded and stuff like that. Leans off to the side there, and you see he says, "You know, Your Majesty, in a city like Comida, the questions are many, and the answers a few. When an opportunity comes to strike, it's important to strike quick."
Why are we doing riddles? One more time? Or can you speak English? Or can you speak common?
You see, he says,
I'm only 16, you know.
he says,
Birthday today.
"I wish to send you a message. And I wish to send this message via secret channels. And he goes, I see a lot in you. You've shown your ability in the Grand Melee, and I was thoroughly impressed. I wish to conduct a little expedition. And this expedition that I have planned cannot be conducted as a matter of state."
Is he like whispering? Or
Do you understand? Okay, so you see that he's not whispering. He kind of left you to like a little bit more of a it is still in public, but it's like kind of off to the side there. So like, yeah, Frank is still, I mean, that's up to him, I don't know.
Frank seems to be distracted.
Okay. But like, yeah, if like Senator Chibata were to just like lop your head off, people would see. But it's not like people aren't listening, but they fully see you. And you see, he says, "Yeah, and this expedition I wish to conduct cannot be conducted as a matter of state." Do you understand?
No, not really.
It would be how you say off the books, if you understand.
Oh, like on the DL.
This could be a little bit of legwork.
What? I don't want to walk anywhere though.
Oh, he goes, no, do not misunderstand. This expedition cannot occur in the moment, but very soon.
So.
I.
Take like a 2-minute pause to.
What's up?
Can for that hour that we. It may or may not have made.
So you're going to attempt to poison the senator of Syresia.
I'm not saying that is.
Why did I bring him?
But you.
What?
However, I am gonna offer him a drink. As
And you're trying to drink supposedly alcohol in the middle of the hot day?
no, it's just water. It's just like a water.
In a flask?
I meant like a water skin.
We're just gonna rewind everything now.
You said so. You offer him a drink. Are you offering it to him right now, as he kind of?
While they're talking, yeah, I'm just gonna walk up and offer both of them a drink. I'm gonna be like, it's real hot out here. You guys thirsty?
Rip. So Chibata rolled a nat 1 on his insight. So you see that.
Can I roll insight
Sure.
against him? I guess.
Yeah.
You put like them over here. Sage, tell me
You
everything
see
about
that
yourself.
the minute you guys lean, you specifically remember when you were arguing, like kind of like in the foreground, like in the background of like of you arguing with like Red or Cowboy or whoever. You specifically remember watching Frank dump something in his water skin that was like this, like clearly like it's one of those things where you're just like, oh, you make it, and then you smell it, you're like, oh dear God, like one of those, oh fuck, it's like real strong, it like burns. Clearly something that's like.
While I'm offering him a
And you see that he pulls out that same flask, something you very clearly saw him pour something like nasty into. Perceivable.
Nothing with a nat 20 that I could perceive?
Well, that was an insight.
no, nothing with a nat 20 that you could perceive. In fact, I am 100% nothing.
Perhaps.
Well, that guy to poop.
I don't know. Perhaps. I see. Okay.
You winked at me, though, right?
So, but yeah, he does drink it. It's a con save.
Okay, can I
Oh shit.
It's a DC 16, not 11.
just tilt it? Oh, see.
I know it says 11, but because I'm a light maker.
Okay. But you saw it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I?
He drank though, right?
He did.
Are you gonna tell me what he rolled?
It's a nat 20 on the die.
Okay. Do I have to roll con now?
Yeah, you do.
Fuck. Come on, Dave.
Okay.
If you kill me just now, I will be so upset.
You see that he takes a swig and he goes, what a bit of a bite. I don't know what you carry within your water skin, young man, but it's quite good. As I was saying, Your Highness, he goes,
I ate it myself.
as I was saying, Your Highness, this bit of an expedition cannot be conducted on the books. It cannot be conducted as a matter of state. It's not one that you or I likely wish to would not wish to have our names or faces attached to. At least not publicly.
Are you?
You see, he says, if you wish to inquire further, bring as many of your cohorts as you wish.
I don't have any friends here.
I would say bring those who can keep a low profile, and I, of course, will be coming myself.
Coming where?
You see that he kind of, again, is like leaning over the railing, looking off into the harbor, before he turns to face you, and he just goes, it is a matter of time and place, Your Majesty. So the things that you can say, or perhaps the things that you shouldn't say, are a matter of place and location, as he turns and sees that you're, like, again, standing fully in public. He wants you to go with him on some sort of expedition.
Right now.
No, that can't be done in public or in the public
That you
eye.
won't tell me about. This is so sus.
He says if you wish to inquire more, he'll send a letter for you. That's what he was saying earlier. If you want to know more, he will send you a message through secret channels, so that you can know more.
All right.
But he can't tell you specifically what it would be, because that'd be like handing CIA files to some Joe Schmo in the park.
Right. I gotcha.
What's that?
Do you know where I can find braces?
He goes, sure, there's jewelry stores all over Comida.
Sure.
Roll a persuasion check.
While this is happening,
I got a 5.
Aspen did fail.
did you tell her what she's under the effects of?
No. Damn it. 5. You're going in timeout. That's what I need. A dice jail.
You need a dice jail? You see that he just goes, he goes, oh, you mean you're looking for armor?
Yeah,
Understandable.
I just, you know.
I thought perhaps you were looking for bracers of the jewelry type.
Well,
I cannot be seen publicly endorsing the daughter of Candia, whose father was almost assassinated moments ago.
No.
You see, he says, a trade then.
Yes. That's
You employ me your services, and in turn, like any employer, I pay you for a job well done.
You gonna pay me too?
You see that he
Shut up, Frank.
does. He goes. Do you prefer? He goes. Do you prefer monetary or material?
I prefer.
I have no idea what that
I
means.
didn't say that. I prefer to just.
Very well, and but
Curse you.
but yes, you I so that I may prepare for our endeavor tonight. Do you prefer monetary or material?
If that material.
Money, and we're not gonna be doing anything. You know
I
you're
would-
dumb, right?
What do you say?
You see that he kind of like acknowledges you, doesn't say like, go ahead and speak, kind of like notices you're like kind of just like, oh, you're still here. You see, he says, Your Majesty, is this one of your cohorts?
This is my best.
Will he be accompanying us in our endeavor? Yes, young man. What can I do for you? I am unable to say. But it is. Unfortunately, I can't even begin to believe what you're even speaking of. Yes, you will be rewarded for your efforts. He goes.
Because he also pays me.
He goes. I assure you that the senator of Syresia, will not be leading any sort of covert attack on your father.
Nope. See what?
You see that he goes. Go on. You see, he says.
No, wait, he's talking to me.
You see. Oh. Okay. Yeah. You are talking to Chibata. He says something I've never told someone before.
Sideline with acid.
Oh. Okay. Okay. My bad. He goes. By all means.
Oh, but you know.
means the zone of truth means you can't knowingly lie.
Right.
Essentially,
But me
My bad,
saying,
my bad.
why would I tell you? Is that a lie? I guess.
no, that is not a lie. But you could, but the next
I
thing you say,
misunderstood.
like the next thing you say, if you were to be like, okay, like I will now answer the question, whatever follows that has to be the truth.
Got it.
Or no, zone of truth. If they lie, you just know they're lying. Let me, 5e
Hold on.
zone.
I read this, but
Yeah.
actually,
A creature that enters the spell's area for the first time on a turn at the start of its turns must make a charisma saving throw. Pass all of that. And if an affected creature is aware of the spell and thus avoid answering the questions on which it would normally respond with a lie. So, yes, you can't knowingly lie, and if you ever attempt to lie, you literally cannot.
Got it.
okay. Let me rephrase my sidebar question then. Now knowing that,
Yes.
Hold on. Hold on, I'm thinking.
He's holding.
Something that. How do you get someone to try a lie for you? Okay.
you don't think I've been trying to figure this out?
My favorite color is blue.
It's a very good color.
Okay, Chibata, what is my favorite color?
Blue.
He wouldn't be able to say it. My favorite color is not blue.
He does. He also would. You also wouldn't have been able to see either. Say it either.
Shit, you're right. Hold on, start over. Chibata.
Also, if he doesn't know it's a lie, it's not technically a lie.
Wouldn't this spell pick up whether he knows or not?
Yes, and he doesn't know that your favorite color is or is not blue.
Fuck.
If you were just like, if you were like, hey, my favorite color is blue, and then you asked, and like you were like, that is a fact, and you're like, yeah, I see that. You wear blue shoes or whatever, blah 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 blah. And then right after that, you were like, Chibata, what is my favorite color? He wouldn't be able to say red, because he knows now that, truthfully, your favorite color is blue, not red. If you believe we have the time.
Yes, we always have the time.
Very well.
Go ahead, you go first.
This is gonna backfire out of character.
My first thought was, how are we supposed to play this game if none of us can lie except him?
Well, my theory is if it's anything
He says, very well. In my youth, I was a lowborn who earned money via the gladiator pits. My military rank is commander, and and you see, he says, he goes, and I believe he goes, and I believe I know who, and I believe I know who's after you all in Candia.
Aha, that's the one.
Very well. He says, until we meet. He goes, do you have some calling?
I do. I forgot. I just do. Wait, I can't lie. Shit. He said, do you have some calling? No. Fuck. Yeah. No.
Do you have a code word that you wish to hear before receiving the message?
Yes, of course. It's one that me and my friend.
As intricate as that is, I can't be. I don't think that you or my messenger will be able to covertly slip that into a sentence, into a phrase.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't know what that is.
Well, it's like the candy version. Shut up. It's real. Shut up.
Why would there be a Batman in Candia?
You know, because pop culture.
Okay. What's that mean?
Fuck. Alright. I'm really bad at codes. I don't know.
You're the one who picked criminal as your as your
Doesn't say
as your
that.
background.
Yeah, my code was free. I don't know why I have to make a new one. Okay, it is. The pale moonlight. No, I'm kidding. Just the first part.
I believe I can make that work. Until then.
Just to be clear, though, I just want to. Said mission.
And if you do not answer within a certain a reasonable amount of time, I will assume that it is a no, and thus I will begin.
I guess. Back a no. Don't worry.
Very well. And in that case, I will embark on this expedition on myself.
Oh, but you are gonna do it either way.
Yes.
Oh god. Okay. Well, I will be waiting your message within like the 2 hours, 24 hours.
He says before the night is over.
Oh, like okay.
Yes. He goes. I plan to spend the night sightseeing in the. I plan to spend the night sightseeing amongst the stars.
Alright, well, good, grand. I will await the message then, and you shall hear back.
He says goodbye, and you see that he kind of like motions to some of the nobles he's with, who've kind of been like off to the side, like not really listening to the conversation. Escort you back to your room, to your back to your father and the rest of them. You re-enter into the bedroom, that little common area there, where you see that like Amethar is now like lying down fully, trying to like rest up. But you guys make it back.
Can I talk with Frank before we go in the building?
Sure. Okay. Okay. You see that the night goes on. You watch the sun fully go down. You watch the bulb fully go down. And you see that in the very like kind of like right before it's fully dark, there is a knock at your door. The Tart guards let in some kind of like valet, like a little valet, like some sort of like probably like a bellhop kind of guy.
So not a valet.
Yeah, not a valet.
So the guy who drives our cars comes up to our room.
Yeah, that guy. So like more of like a bellhop. He's got like a big old silver like dome, like a serving platter. Sets it down and he goes, "To help you sleep, Your Majesty." Sets it down on the table there in the middle. Removes it, and it is 2 glasses and a big thing of wine. The brand of the wine is Dancing with the Devil.
The truce serum ends after an hour, just so you're aware.
Fair.
Okay. I look at Frank immediately.
Okay. You pop the cork off. You pour yourself a nice little glass. They give you like these little glasses with it. You drink it. It's a very sweet kind of wine. Obviously, it's more of like a fruit juice. Like it is wine. It's definitely like you can definitely taste the kind of like alcoholic bite to it. But it's very kind of like low.
Wine is just fruit juice.
Oh, but yeah, you can tell it was definitely made by like some of like clearly probably some of the best stuff that you can find here in Fructera. Okay. You look at the card and it just says you see that it is courtesy of like the wait staff here in this kind of building. So it's like, courtesy of like so like the fruit gardens or something. That's all it says. That's on the card. They give you the bottle and it's just like a bottle and some glasses. You see, your dad is fully asleep.
Red.
Guess who's in charge?
Red.
It has been an hour, yeah. It's been more than an hour, but yeah. You
Next to a candle.
you hold it to the light. It looks like a label.
Sure.
Okay, so you peel the wrapper off. You take the label. You have one of the rooms assigned to you off into the side there, so you can just kind of head off in there. The minute you grab the labels, or however, you're looking at it. You see it says "Dance with the Devil" on it. It just looks like a regular old wrapping. I would say you were there. You think about the label, about what it says, and the phrase is missed. Like the rest of the phrase is missing.
What phrase?
The phrase that you gave him for the secret message.
I just said dancing with the devil.
But what's the rest of the phrase?
Well, I said just kidding.
Yeah, but what's the rest of the phrase?
In the pale moonlight?
Mm-hmm. The moon is out.
Oh my.
You hold it up to the moonlight. You fully see an inscription that says like, "Meet me here." Like, meet me here. Like, bring stealthy companions with you. The mission, like the mission. So the expedition now replaced with the word like mission, fully word mission. Is that he's conducting a raid on an unlisted warehouse.
What does it say?
For any reason? Or that doesn't give a reason? It just says conducting a raid?
The reason other is hope to bring some secrets to light.
I was really hoping there'd be a lot more in this damn message.
Yeah, that's really all it says. He can't.
I asked you what it said. Yeah.
You see Amethar. Can you make me a dexterity saving throw, please?
Oh god. You're gonna get hit.
I'm gonna use my good dice.
This isn't the first time you've ever woken up Amethar from a deep sleep. Like,
That's so weird.
It's weird in the sense that like Amethar doesn't just sleep. Like, you would think this king sleeps in Candia like in his bed every night, but the thing is that, you know, Amethar's a war guy. He's always slept wherever he was tired at the time, and you immediately know it's coming. And then as the minute you wake him up, he snaps awake, reaches, grabs the hilt, the handle of payment day, raises forward and grips it for a large slash, You fully dive, like, step out of the way as his hand snaps forward to reach for your neck as he fully snaps awake. And he... God damn it, Frank! What? What is it? What is it?
Chibicha came and took us.
He's
We have a mission, and he wants to enlist us. He's gonna give us money, so I'm in.
You see that he...
I don't even know if I want to.
Coming out of his stupor, the door opens. You see that Calroy's walking in. He goes, Your Majesty, how are you feeling? You see that Amethar goes, like shit. And you see he says, I can imagine. What's going on?
La 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 la. Nothing. Nothing.
He's...
My idea is
You see that Calroy looks around and just goes, Oh, lovely. All right. You see he sits down and he says, So what's the information that we have? Any good mission requires that we lay out all of the necessary components before we make a just decision.
Well, I've.
You don't go to class.
Oh. You see, yes, Red. I am not opposed to this. He says, How do you feel, Cal? And he says, Your Majesty, if I may be blunt. He says, Good, by all means. He goes, It seems that we find ourselves inside of a quiet war, and it is a war that is not currently ours. It is not one that I mean to speak about publicly, but a direct attack has been made against you twice, and foiled by myself in the first instance, and then the second by your daughter.
Yeah, I helped you.
And I believe it may be because you are the king of Candia. So far as I'm concerned, whoever is attacking is making some kind of declaration of war.
Well, I say the word, you come.
I think that we Sage, do you have a question or does Frank have a question?
I have a question.
What's your question? What's your question?
As I haven't actually asked.
Other than like the tournament going down pretty much how it was expected to, Amethar, there was an assassination attempt on Amethar. Somebody stabbed him in his back during the Grand Melee.
And Brett
Um,
Did I watching the Grand Melee?
You, sir, were distracted because you weren't here, so you didn't get to contribute, unfortunately. You were watching Max waste 3 of his 5 arrows trying to shoot 10-pointers at the beginning of the game. So that's what happens. That's what he's referring to.
Cool.
Yeah. So you also see that he says, "Understand that I will always be there when you call."
But I mean, like, literally.
I can follow you, sure, but we must cover all of our bases before we make any kind of decision.
What is the time thing? Like, when does he want us to meet?
In an hour. Tonight. That's what he meant by he's gonna go sightseeing under the stars. It means he's gonna do it at the dead of night.
And then.
It's unlikely anybody in this room will recognize it because you guys don't live in Comida. You know, it'd be like, oh, it's located here, and it's not even really like an address. It's more of like a crude map that's like, yo, hey, you see this like building right here? It's not the building next to it. It's kind of, here's an arrow drawn like hastily in this alley. You gotta jump over the wall by this gate. Yeah.
Then you have to walk 10 paces north.
Yeah. What's up? I mean,
Can we make a history check?
make a history check. $12? I mean, you don't know the building verbatim, but it's a part of Comida that's like an underprivileged like district. So that it's a lot of buildings that are either like in certain places the buildings fully aren't finished, or like again like these kind of like buildings that are like have been condemned and stuff. But it's not so much that you know the building, but you're like, I think I know the area.
Well, it'd be.
He goes, yes, your majesty, but that would leave the king unprotected.
Yes.
You're right. You're right.
I think as much as I hate this plan, and let me reiterate, I hate this plan. I think we need to capitalize on these kind of
Because secrets I could learn in this.
Can I make a history check to see if that's something that he would do?
I'm not sure if that's.
it wouldn't be his. Give me an insight check. Calroy said it earlier, you're fighting a quiet war. It's hard to determine the movements of all of the pieces when you don't even realize what game you're playing.
Alright, so Dad stays here. Look at those. And I'll put it under the bed.
I am truly inspired by your want to conceal your father, but we should all be realistic about the situation. There's no way we covertly sneak the King of Candia out of this building.
Yeah.
I believe that we.
There. I would hold on.
Okay.
And then,
Pretty sure that's covert.
yeah, and then we just pretend.
No, you drug, not me. He goes, okay. I think the very first thing we need to establish is who is going.
The only people that are allowed to go, or that have been given permission and that won't blow our cover.
The full defense. He goes, I'll have you know, when I served next to your father in the Ravaging War, I served next to a recon unit, a special non-detection unit meant specifically to sneak behind enemy lines and go undetected against the enemy forces.
We also have.
And then Max made me Google it, and I was like, oh shit, this really is a actual spot, in a royal court, and I was like, yo, this is crazy. And then you were like, alchemist.
Okay.
Your royal guard, I really disapprove.
Okay. Well, wait a minute. Frank said something interesting earlier, as well as the princess. The message was given to them. If
For me, specifically. He asked for me. He
so,
must have something to do with me.
so if anything, I'm sure he wouldn't mind if Frank didn't show it, but I believe if the princess didn't show, something would be amiss. I think that we monitor her from afar, making sure that she stays all green.
I'll wear a wire.
Um, but I find it peculiar why the senator of Syresia would ask for the assistance of
A child?
Of-
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
no, specifically of a Candian. My dear, you're of age now. You're no longer viewed by anyone in our tight knit empire as a small child. You see, he goes, look, listen, we're all, we could, clearly, the protection of the king is our top priority, but it is also not the most difficult. Whether it's invisibility or other magics, we can get Amethar out of here. But we are fighting a war, and war is not fair. That is why, henceforth, from here on, I believe it is advantageous for us to be ruthless. You see, Amethar says, and I agree. He says, Korish, are you up for this?
Of course I'm up for this, Father. This is what I was born to do.
Then you're going.
I knew that.
He says, Frank, whatever plan you have in mind, I look forward to what it is that we have planning, but I can defend myself.
Yeah, would it not be safer for Frank to come with me? I mean, he can make me invisible and teleport away if we need to.
Agreed. Frank, it is settled. Frank, you will be accompanying Korish on this top secret mission. Gain all of the secrets that you can. We will use that as a hidden ace should the time come. In the meantime, I will be staying right here. I am King Amethar, first of his name. I am no coward. And besides, I'm more than fine now.
But Red is gonna be here with you, right?
What do you? He says, "What do you?"
Can I make an attack on him to prove his word wrong?
Sure, make an attack on him. 15 misses. You swing. You see he swing again. He's leaning on payment day as like kind of like a crutch. You quickly pull out your swing it at him. He fully pulls up his blade, parries your blow, brings it in, sticks it out. The blade like is fully resting on your shoulder, like honed against your neck. And he goes, nice try, but but the grand melee was a fluke. And he says, all right. Get your things and get what are needed. I will be staying here until knock at the door. The door opens. It is another kind of like, this time not one of these bellhops. Like a bellhop is accompanying them, but they're not the one that's in the doorway. It looks like somebody in this like kind of like knight, like this nice kind of robe. Clearly somebody that resides in the Pyramid of Food. Who's probably some like upper Fructera noble. And you
I'm gonna speak to him for Karen.
okay.
How you doing?
You see that she bows and she says, you see she goes, hello, she says, Emperor Uvano requests the appearance of King Amethar, before the night is over. She says, if you could come and quickly, that would be most appreciated. You see that she says, then she goes, I have been assigned to escort you to the Great Pyramid of Food, but I can be dismissed if you wish. You see that Amethar says, all right, change of plans. He goes, she does speak Fructeren. Amethar? Amethar does not speak Fructeren.
Yeah, I was talking to her in Fructeren.
Well, you didn't say anything.
Huh?
You didn't say anything to her.
I was like, what are you doing? I said, what are you doing here?
In Fructeren. So she responds with, so I'll say that she says that to you in, she says that to you in Fructeren.
Even though she understood you.
I'm gonna tell her to wait outside the door and we will be out in a minute.
She gives you a deep bow, seeing the badge that like kind of holds your cape up on your chest, that you are like an imperial. She takes a step back after giving you a bow. The door is shut by the Tart guard, and you see that Amethar says, he says, all right, what was all that wishy-wash?
Uvano wants us.
Very well.
Out of game, didn't he just ask for Amethar?
He requested Amethar, but it's kind of been, not cemented. Like the people in the Great Pyramid of Food know that like Red's been kind of like his personal escort, like his bodyguard. So like they would probably let Red. But yes, it was just Amethar that was requested.
So
Yes, he is. You see, he looks at you and just goes, "Yes." He goes, "Your mission does not change."
I still think the hunter should go with.
You see, she fully dodges you, like, kind of like jumps backwards, arcs backwards, hands on the couch, backflips over the couch, kind of like kicks the end of it towards you, like it kind of catches you by the knee, not necessarily knocking you off of your feet, just enough for you to like kind of stumble over and catch yourself. But when you look up, she already has her sword drawn in this very like monastic stance.
that is twice now, Candy, that you cannot stop a child or my father.
Guys, calm down. Resolve this then. You keep trying to attack. Amethar's not attacking you.
You see that you go to step over the couch, and as you do that, you feel a heavy hand as Amethar fully grabs you by the breastplate, slams you through into the wall, and he says, "That is enough. There will be no more fighting in my presence. Do you not understand that we are the targets of some unknown enemy? Do you understand we don't even know who we're fighting? But yet, here you two stand fighting each other. Whose side are you on?" You see that he like gives you straight daggers. Good. He drops you. Glad to hear it. He goes, "Now, we each have our tasks. Let us agree to rendezvous." And you see, and he looks at you. Daggers drop from his face. Much more of a solemn face now. He kneels down. Giant man of a father you have leans down, gives you a big hug, and he goes, "Please be safe."
Can you promise you'll be...
You see, he says, "Absolutely." He says, "I appreciate it, but the King of Candia does not hide."
Stop, Dad, you will take it.
You see he takes the bottle, you kind of like, just in case. Like hooks it onto his belt.
I do...
Do you think I have braces to give you?
God damn it, why can't anyone just give me some fucking braces? I didn't say that. I can't wear just plain old armor.
He gives you two giant, like not bracers, they're full gauntlets. They're full on like gauntlets, like the ones with like the kind of bracer is built into the glove, but they're these huge full Candian steel, like full peppermint steel.
With a mixture of...
Do any of you possess the ability to make magic items? No.
Poison them.
If you were an artificer, I would give you the role, but you wanted to play monks. So you guys kind of do that. You head off from one of, like, you guys kind of split up, having seen each other here. We follow Red and Amethar. You guys are escorted by some of the Tart Guard and the Imperial Guard up to the antechamber again, where you see once again in resplendent finery the Lady Uvano, who walks like directly up to you, Red, and just goes, "Sir Red, or what is your character's actual name?" What's your first name?
His
All right.
first name is Gum, last name Ball. Come on.
You see, she says, "Sir," so she goes, "Sir Gumball of Candia, I owe you the most sincere apology I can give you." She just goes, she said, usually just the turmoil that Candia has experienced in the form of an unwelcome since you've arrived here in Comida. On behalf of the Emperor, I apologize. And you see that she kind of like gives you kind of like a deep bow. And you see that she comes up from her bow. She goes, "King Amethar, you may of course come inside if you wish, but I believe..." And you see that there's another person kind of posted up here as well, who is Annabelle Cheddar. You see that Annabelle nods and says, "Well, fellow Candians, how do you find yourselves?" And you see that she looks over and she says, "Right, well," she says, "your archer didn't quite shoot as straight as I've ever seen, and actually pretty much," and she goes, "and actually pretty much everyone fell under me blade in the ring before the match was even cold, so that's that's all then." And then she goes, "Oh," and then she goes, she goes, "Carradine dropped his weapon, and then Flash Fry, and she goes, and the French Fry, well, he didn't do as well either." And you see that she's kind of just like recalling the events of like the tournament, and she says, "And then the only melee combatant that could keep her weapon in her hand," she says, "almost verbally conceded to me." She goes, "But she stayed into the end." She goes, "But hell of a fighter, I'd see. A win's a win." She goes, "So, right.
I'll have to challenge you to a rematch when I'm not so tired."
Ha!" She goes, "Dear, it wouldn't do you much to challenge me when you're at your best." She goes, Annabelle. She goes, "As strong as you are, you're not as fast as me blade." Yeah, so you see that she kind of like goes to the two of you, and you guys are escorted in. Yeah, you see that you guys head in. You see that Gustavo there. He looks up. He's been like propped up on like some pillow, like kind of like a pillow thing. He's not as vulnerable as he was in the first night, but like, as propped up, sitting kind of up now. He says, "Hello, my humble subject, Captain Cheddar, Gumball, and King Amethar." You see that Amethar gives him a nod. He looks at all of you guys, and he goes, "To all that are assembled here first, I should mention the bananas in here. Lord Citrona's in here too. the first thing that does not require a choice of any sort. Congratulations to you, you see, Captain Cheddar, and she says, and to you, Lord Citron, for your seat at the Cornucopian Council, for reign of whoever is selected to be the Cornucopian reign, whoever is selected empire. You see, he looks over meaningful at Amethar, and Captain Cheddar, you've won the melee, so you may ask for one boon of me. And you see, she looks up. She goes, I have two things that I dearly want, and one is for myself, and one is for the Dairy Isles. She looks down for a moment and thinks, I would ask the Emperor's leave to request a favor from the Pontifex, as a youth, the young Lord Stilton Cordeaux swore some holy vows, as he was the youngest son to enter the clergy, and his older brother died at sea. I would ask that he be released from his vows, to that he would wed his sweetheart, the Lady Primsy Coolbottle, Duchess of Lacrimore. And the Emperor goes, the Emperor nods, he goes, a release under circumstances would be eminently reasonable. Yeah, you guys, it's kind of quiet in this room, as, Annabelle Cheddar just asked, something on behalf of Primsy.
Which is so lame. We all know it's not what she really wants.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. So you see that, and you see that, Alright. You see that, Gustavo turns to you, Red. You see that he says, and as a matter of dishonor, Lord Gumball, have you a boon to request, perhaps a nomination for the seat of the Concordant Emperor?
Wait, what did Red win?
He didn't win. He's asking Red gets to ask on behalf of King Amethar for a boon.
Didn't win either.
Right, but he still gets to ask because Amethar was almost assassinated in the ring.
Oh, okay.
And at the end of the day,
He says, very powerful nomination. I can see that indeed Candy's honor is strong. I will have to take your nomination into very serious consideration. He looks at you guys and he goes, champions, you are dismissed. And as they about to leave, he looks to Amethar and he says, Amethar, a word. Amethar goes, of course. You guys are asked to step out. Amethar stays. Amethar steps out with you, or Annabelle steps out with you, looks at you, sort of knowingly at you, and claps a hand on your shoulder, and she says, well, the council will benefit from your wisdom. Or not, he puts his hand on Lord Citron, and she goes, well, the council will benefit from your wisdom for many long years to come. Yeah, so you see that, and we have a conversation that happens behind the closed door of Amethar and Gustavo.
can I make a perception to hear it?
Sure, go ahead and give me a perception. Are you trying to be
That's a 2.
Are you trying to? Okay, never mind. Sounds good. You see that after a little while, Plumbeline exits. She's the one who escorts you out, but she comes out after you guys. and before you leave, Red, you see Oliver Onion Patch, kind of like that onion dude from earlier, you saw earlier, approaches you before Amethar comes out, and you see he goes, oh, very sorry, sir. He goes, my name is Oliver Onion Patch. He goes, He goes, I was horrified to see what happened to to the king at the tournament match.
Yes, it was quite a travesty.
He goes, yes, of course, I could refer to nothing else other than a travesty. My lord, your presence is requested immediately at the Pontifex's chambers at the cathedral. Absolutely. He goes, but please, hastily would be most appreciated. And he scampers off there. You see that Calroy walks as he goes down the steps. Calroy comes up the stairs. You see he goes, what was that all about? He goes, do you have an inn with the church?
Apparently.
Huh. What is it in regards to, if you don't mind me asking?
I don't know, but I don't like it.
He goes, well, if it was a summons, then there's no telling what happens. I'm about to head off to support the youngsters in their mission. I was simply stopping by one last time to make sure nothing had gone awry.
Is the hunter going with them?
I believe he'll be nearby, as I will be.
Is there people around us still?
Like a couple, the people that you are there with. Most of the people are like on a lower floor, and that's where all of like, Primogen Alfredi is and stuff like that. They're on like a lower floor there.
So
Wow.
deserves it more than
That
even just now in that room.
Red, you're not nominating her to be the queen. You're nominating her to be the empress.
I know.
You're not even giving her training wheels. She doesn't get to be queen first. You want her to go. If she wins, she goes straight to empress.
I know. But just like I was Amethar.
But Amethar will still be king, Red.
I know.
She will reign over Amethar.
I know.
There's no telling. Do you understand that there's no telling what kind of damage occurs when all of a sudden your 16-year-old daughter is suddenly the intent of the entire empire?
Right, but I don't think he'd be very
If
happy.
tonight goes how I think it's gonna go, I'm not. And if I
Perhaps. We do live in strange times, so let's not make them any stranger.
and if I tell him
And I think you should. Should we tag out? I will take over here, and you can go to the church. Frank and Master Wicks.
Frank and Master Wicks.
I understand.
That's it?
Godspeed.
Oh god.
I will be honest. I'll be honest, Red. I'm not concerned for you, but it looks, all of this, you're right, looks very, very strange. So keep your head on the, keep your head on a swivel. You see, he, like, taps you on your pauldron before he, like, posts up next to the door.
Can I crank?
Can you, what do you plan to do with a gumball right now?
A second set of eyes.
I'm gonna have to say no.
And I roll a D100 and call high.
There is no way I would give you 50% chance for you to have extra eyes.
Give him a 10% chance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Make it fun.
D100, 1 to 10, and I will let you do this insane nonsense that you're saying. We have Tailspire open. Go ahead and roll it on Tailspire.
Oh, I have to do it on Tailspire.
Yep.
Oh god. Okay.
That's the wrong 10%.
Not 90 to 100.
Whoa.
Come on, 90 to 100.
Nope.
I said high is good.
I said 1 to 10.
High is good.
I said 1 to 10.
Just if it's a 99, I'm gonna be mad.
Ah! Rip. Anyway.
Come on.
Nope.
It's a 99.
Nope.
It's a 99 out of 100.
Nope.
Come on.
Nope.
That'll never happen
You know
again.
what's fun, Sully?
Yeah.
Nope.
I'll only ever do it once.
All right. You turn the knob. Click, 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 click.
Insane amount of like stipulation. Like it can only do this one time. For
I'm about to permanently remove a piece of his health bar.
That how much?
I don't know. I haven't decided.
39 right now.
I don't know. I haven't decided. I'm about to like roll a D10 and be like, that's how much health. That's how much health you permanently lose.
That is fair.
All right.
considering you're taking a piece.
Since you're taking a full eyeball out.
Yeah.
7.
I'm at 32.
All right. You pop an eyeball out.
Wait, I'm sorry. 30?
He is the tank. Yeah.
Fucked.
He said.
I guess you're 50.
Insane. So you head off with Oliver. Calroy posts up. So you just give him like an eyeball? What do you do? Okay, he takes it.
Can't see anything.
What the fuck?
You see, he just goes.
I want you to chew my eyeball right now, man.
He goes. Red. That's disgusting.
I just knew you went red.
He says, back during the war, I remember because I remember the battle at Dutch Lake. I remember the battles at Wintergreen Pass. We lost a lot of guys there. We lost a lot of good men, sons, brothers, fathers. I remember we were pinned down for 6 days. So little food. We had to remember eating the wildlife, and we had to shit in those trenches. Some people, stricken with horrible dysentery, couldn't help it but just to, defecate themselves, and some dying of sepsis, and it was one of the worst days I remember of the war. This is arguably worse than that.
I understand.
Do you? This shit is nasty as hell.
But at the end of the day,
You see, he looks at it and he goes, and it's a grape one. Nobody likes the grape ones.
at the end of the day, we have to protect Amethar, and that's gonna be the quickest way to get me back to you, so that I can help defend it.
So wait, so how will you know? Is it just gonna hurt? You're just gonna be like, ah, fuck! How?
Is that when he loses the health?
Just incredibly excruciating pain out of nowhere. Hello, your medicine. Oh, God!
He's like, fuck!
Or crush it in your hand or something. I will
You
know.
walk around the corner and he accidentally drops it.
Whole being.
Oh, my God.
I
So,
love this so much.
you guys fully depart. The whole time you're walking with Oliver, he goes, this is so gross, Red. This is gross. This is like for Candia, but this shit is gross. You guys sitting in the room, getting ready to leave. A knock is at the door, and you hear somebody just goes.
Wow. Hold on.
You hear.
Come to this house.
You hear a knock at the door as you hear a voice on the other side quickly say, no. I didn't even hear your reference.
Wow. A lot of people come to this house.
Yeah, I got it.
We got 10 people knocking on our door tonight.
You hear a voice that says, okay, then you don't hear it from the door. You hear it from outside the window, that just says, that horrific screaming noise that you did earlier from the bathroom.
Sorry, I don't remember what it was.
I don't remember what it was either.
It was. I'm sorry. All right, I need you to.
I remember what it was. It was was that what it was? Was it?
I heard that.
That's what you hear from outside the window.
Outside the bathroom.
The bathroom window. Okay. That is what.
Get my phones back.
That is what you guys hear.
Okay, I run to the bathroom window.
Okay. You see nobody is sitting outside except for what looks to be on some peasant kid who's waiting till he's somebody sits there before fully just vanishing into one of the alleys. He waits for somebody to look through the window from the other side before vanishing into the alley. That's the, that was the signal. That's the it's time to meet up signal.
I thought I had.
There's not a time. It wasn't meet here at 3:45. It wasn't like that. It was
I thought it was.
It was like you asked him to send you a note giving you the mission details, and then then that's the hey, if you're coming, it's time to come. It's time to go.
Then let's go? Like what is stopping us? Are you stressed? Hey, bad timing, but I'll be right back.
Orish, you will be fine. You are a fine swordswoman. Also, I was summoned by the Pontifex, so Calroy is not going anymore. That is correct. He is staying with your father to protect him. I have to go see the Pontifex for something. She summoned me. Look,
The what?
the Pontifex?
Who's that again?
She's like the Pope.
I thought the other lady was the Pope. The one that you said I couldn't see.
The Pontifex? Who did you think I was saying was the Pope?
Remember when I asked if I could talk to the... I don't know. Never mind. But it was not the lady. That wasn't that lady.
Her name is Pontifex Elizabeth Brassica. She's Hierophant Rex Pontifex Elizabeth.
Oh, yeah. No, it is that lady. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, that's not who I thought we were. I thought we were talking about the great bitch.
Plumbeline?
That's
who. That's Emperor Vano's daughter.
Yeah, I got the names mixed up in my head. That's why I was like,
You thought Plumbeline and Elizabeth Brassica are the same person.
They sound the same. Plumbeline, Elizabeth, same thing. So the Pontifex wants to see you. Why you? What importance do you have to her?
I don't know, but I don't like it.
Yeah, me neither. This doesn't feel very safe at all. I mean, you're leaving the king with Cake Man. No offense, Cake Man. And
You guys are echoing real bad.
Yeah. I just turned the sound back on too. Let me try that.
You can go back to the way it was before. I was doing.
I actually can't because of if I unmute you, you're gonna get feedback because you're not using headphones.
No, I mean the way it was earlier, the way we were playing.
No, like nobody can hear you because you're muted on my screen, so your sound doesn't come through on the thing. So all the sound that you do is coming through my microphone.
This whole time?
Mm-hmm.
So, I might need my gloves back.
Your gloves, taking your gloves off does not affect your AC whatsoever.
Oh, cool. Well, I'm still gonna ask in the back. Like, do you need those still?
Is that on?
Yeah.
Oh. Hold on, let me make sure mine's off. Yeah, it's off. What'd you say? Sorry, one more time. I was trying to get my mic situation settled.
I'm gonna point to my gloves. Do you still need those?
Oh, no. When was I ever going to wear those? They're fucking huge.
Oh, I don't know. But I need to go to the Pontifex now. Calroy is with your father. You, Wix, and Frank will be just fine. I believe in you three. Well, I believe in Wix. He'll protect you guys. Good luck, and then I'm gonna pat her on the head.
Don't. And I make grumpy noises as he messes up my hair.
And I don't think I said it to you yet, but happy birthday. And then I'm just gonna go head down the hall to the Pontifex.
And then he hands me bracers.
No.
Damn it!
Then I'm gonna go head down to the hall to the Pontifex.
Before it goes.
Yeah, you can hug him.
Gross, but I'm gonna do it.
Okay. She gives you a big old hug, and again, Red is also huge, like just this giant dude. So you're just like pretty much just hugging like his like lower waist the whole time, and the two of you have a parting. The two of you part. Awesome. So you guys head out. Are you following the way that this like kid went?
I thought he disappeared. I mean,
He like ran into one of the alleys. Like you watched him go and disappear. Like,
we have an address.
yeah,
Can I just pull up Google Maps and go?
yeah, sure. You could pull up medieval Google Maps.
It's
literally a map.
Yeah, exactly.
So you guys arrive at this bakery. Go ahead and give me a perception check, please. You know, it's crazy. You know, monks tend to have really good perceptions because they're a wisdom class.
They're a dex class.
Right, but like their literal unarmored defense scales with wisdom.
Yeah, well, if I knew that, I wouldn't have a 13 fucking AC because my wiz is a 1.
They're not a strength class.
I know.
But I don't know why people put points into strength.
I put all mine into dex and
Probably strength.
I don't think it was strength. It was maybe strength. I don't know.
I'm looking at your stats right now, and 3 of those 4 are 1, meaning the last 2 are your plus
Yeah, no,
twos.
it was strength.
Like,
Yeah, I wouldn't have a fucking such a terrible AC if I had paid attention to that.
So you guys find yourself by this bakery, like kind of on this main street here. You see,
Can somebody else make a perception?
you see, this kind of shadowy figure comes out from one of the alleyways, like fully dressed in like rags, like little peasant's garb, like tucked in like with a rope belt. Just two hidden under the kind of like what's like I'm looking for, like just like underneath the rags of like these 2 Ceresian gladiuses. And you just hear, "Oh, hello, my fellow peasants." And you see that it's Senator Chibata, who's like in disguise as some sort of like Ceresian peasant.
Why do you look like that?
He goes, as I said before, this is probably not an endeavor you wish to have your face associated with. That's why I was implying a disguise.
Can we assume that we knew that and have come in disguises?
Huh. This is where I ask myself in this moment if I should let you guys wear disguises.
Well, good knows. You don't have to ask it for me, because I'm not wearing that.
I will say one of you can roll a deception check.
I have great deception.
Or one of you can roll with advantage, or well, actually, he's saying he's not wearing one, so you just have to roll.
Proficient with deception.
Just roll one straight.
A deception check?
Yeah.
Dice jail. 14.
14? I was at 14's enough for you to know. Like, it's not even like, I would say you didn't even like come in a disguise. You're just like, oh shit, like that's right. We probably should have wore a disguise. And you see that Chibata's like, no worries, friend. He goes, and you see that he hands you like a bundle of
Thank God.
clothes that you can like quickly throw on. It's just like a bunch of like rags and robes and stuff that you can throw on. Frank, are you still fully not disguising yourself?
No, I'm keeping my noble's clothes on.
Okay.
Why?
Heard that.
That's so dumb.
Nobody said Frank was smart.
Frank, hey, put on a disguise.
I don't want to be associated with those kinds of people.
Get your fucking racist ass out of here and put on a damn disguise. If we die or ruin this mission because you are too picky,
I don't want to say I'm above them, but I'm not some free-range produce.
Now you're whatever the fuck I say you are.
Whatever. I'll throw on a cloak or something, but
Thank you.
All right.
not those rags.
Oh, that's fine.
You see, he pulls the hood over his big loaf head, big old fucking loaf head. And you see that he just goes. You see that Ciabatta, wearing his peasant's clothes, unarmored but like still with his weapons, he just goes, "Follow me." Turns, heads off, into the night with you guys. You end up going to what, like, this palazzo. It's kind of like into the warehouse. There's this kind of like built around this kind of palazzo there, like a Saresian palazzo.
Okay, what's a palazzo?
It's kind of like a vista. It's
One more time, but in English.
see if I can. It's like kind of like one of these. It's like a resort kind of building, like one of these.
Oh.
Yeah, like these kind of buildings.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'll work.
Yeah. So you see that he pulls up kind of like in front of under this like palazzo there, outside of the Great Pyramid of Food. It looks like it's fully abandoned. And there's like actually there's like an iron gate out in the front of it, and it is locked. There's a lock on it. Just like this big old fruit iron gate with a lock on it, and you get to a little lock there. You see the good senator looks at you and goes, "Well, through or over? Lady's choice."
Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking to Frank.
Oof.
You do realize I can poison you, right? Easily.
Go ahead. My dad'll kill you.
Can poison him too. I won't, but
I am
you know,
telling
I can.
him what you just said. You want to poison the king? How? Oh my God, Frank did it. Guys, Frank did it!
You're screaming in the middle of the street?
Nope. I'm whispering. Guys. Frank did
You're whisper yelling.
it. Yeah. I don't know. Are we gonna break things if we go through?
I am referring to the gate.
Are we gonna break the gate? Oh, what do you do? I have thieves' tools. Can't I break in?
That is the question I am asking you. Can you break in?
Yeah, I should be able to.
He goes, "Go ahead."
D20?
D20 plus dex. So you're basically rolling a dex save.
You were me. Thanks, Joe. You guys all suck today. Dex save?
Basically, yeah.
23.
Jesus. With the thieves' tools, it actually lowers the DC. You see that the good senator takes a step back. You pull out the bag, unroll it. It's this big old.
As
like,
I pull it out, I go, "Don't tell my dad I have this."
Unroll it. It's a bunch of like files and like small hooks and stuff like that, picks and stuff, and you click, 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 and fluidly, dexterously, 2 pins go in, and just one by one, pop, pop, pop. You go through and you turn, click. The lock falls to the ground, like just before it hits the ground, because there's like a chain. It's like a big chain with with the padlock on it. Just before it hits the ground, you fully catch it before it hits the ground. Catching it before it lands at any noise. Fully silent. You take it, slide it off into the dirt off to the side, and you see that you just kind of open the gate successfully. The gate is fully open.
Good.
It's not like swung open. It's just the lock is off of it, and you can
Correct.
just push it in or out to open it.
Got it.
You going in first?
I'm following Ciabatta. This is his damn mission.
You see that he takes a step in. The minute he takes a step in and looks around the corner, he fully stops, puts a hand like right in front of your chest, and you see that he looks back at you, puts a finger over his mouth as to whisper like shush, reaches into his clothes, pulls out a gladius, one of his gladiuses, and you see that big old bread dude, incredibly fast, darts off into the night, just under the cover of night, darts over, walks over, and before you know it, you hear him like get into it with somebody. It's not like a fight. It's more like he just rolls up and kind of like grabs the guy. You look around the corner to see him fully come around, grab his hand around some guy's mouth, pull his gladius, and fully slit the guy's throat.
Am I able to say anything before he does that?
I mean, you see it like literally as it happens.
He just murdered a guy in front of me.
He fully kills a guy, drops him. But you see that as he puts him down, it is another bread person.
What the fuck was that?
You see, he goes, these people do not represent Sorisha.
That doesn't mean you kill them.
He goes,
What the fuck? You just literally committed a crime.
he goes, small crimes are needed when when in the pursuit of justice.
No! That's not gonna hold up in
Hold
court.
on, Chris. She has a point.
What do you say? What do you say?
She has a point.
Okay. You
Sometimes to
tell
get
us the
justice,
politics
you
when
have
we
to
get
commit some
caught.
quote-unquote crimes.
He goes, then don't get caught.
Oh my god, we're fucked.
You see, he gives you another shh, turns around, sneaks deeper into the compound there. You see that he looks in it, and you see that you got stopped by this kind of like hedge line where he's like looking up at this kind of like again abandoned building, fully abandoned and condemned, but there's fully a light on in one of the rooms, and he goes, yes, as I thought, all of the Primogen's secrets. And he goes, shall we say domicile or perhaps something more? You see he kind of like thinks about it before he just goes, he kind of like gets back into it, starts to sneak up one of the staircase there. You look at him, as you guys sneak around, you pass the guy, he's fully like the throat he slit, this kind of Sarisian guy, kind of like a, he's neither wearing Imperial or Sarisian colors. He's just like a Sarisian warrior of some kind, but he's clearly not wearing the armor or the colors of either faction. So he's maybe probably like a mercenary or something. And yeah.
Frank leans into Korish, like gestures up to Chabicha and says, coolest thing since sliced bread, eh?
No! Not at all.
Get it? 'Cause
Yes, I get it, Frank.
sliced bread?
How are you so chill right now?
He just killed a guy.
Oh, we're fucked.
You guys get to the top of the stairs. You see Ciabatta opens the door. You walk inside. You see the senator and senator and head of like state of Sarisia turns like a hooded lantern so that the light that's pointed out the window is now pointed towards the ground. So like the light goes out and you're not gonna like make any shadows walking in front of it. Turns it so it's like shining away from you guys, so like we can see you from that side. Just lights the floor up, and you see I will say this, Frank, you recognize this immediately as you enter the room. This is functionally an alchemist's laboratory.
Do I know of any alchemists in the Sarisian realm?
Here's the thing. I would have you roll, but I'm going to just tell you this fact that I think you would know. It's interesting that you're thinking that way because Sarisia, not just Sarisia, but also like Comida, shouldn't have any alchemists. They don't practice the ways of
They think of it like magic.
Yeah, magic, whether it be like magical or mundane, they don't practice it. They don't do it because it's taboo. So for there to be a lab here, it implies that somebody has like kind of like gone against that taboo.
I think
Right.
alchemy is magic.
Can I roll I don't know, a history check or something to see if I can think of somebody in like nobility who might
That or find, or if I'm there with him, can I do an investigation to see if we can find anything with an initial on it?
So yeah, I'll say whichever you think is a check that you can use here. Go ahead and roll it. So tell me what it is you're gonna roll. Then go ahead and roll it, and I will tell you accordingly.
I want to roll a history check to see if I know of anybody who may have gone against common beliefs.
Okay.
And I am doing whatever inside or investigation.
Dirty 20.
You gotta tell me so I know what to tell you.
The one where you're touching and looking at stuff.
Investigation.
To look for a name or an initial on any books, works of art, writing, anything.
Okay, what'd you roll?
Investigation, you said?
Yeah.
17.
17. What'd you roll on your history check?
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20.
I thought he said.
As far as you know, there hasn't, like, when the bulb became like a superpower, it was pretty like in total, like when they were like, when people started to conform, they conformed in mass. There was a woman a long time ago, her name is Rita Rutabaggins, who kind of like went against the good book, but there hasn't been very many, or at least any that are like of note.
Any recorded.
In like, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. You actually bring up a good point. Is that, yeah, the people who rebelled probably were never written about. They were probably like erased from the history books. So the ones that like rebel are the recent ones, as far as like history goes. We'll put a pin in that. You roll an investigation check, and you see Ciabatta like actually, like, you see something on the table, and you look around and you see like a vat of something, like it's like a small like kind of beaker, and you reach for it. Yeah, not a vat. It's like a beaker, like one of those like wide mouth pitcher kind of beakers. You reach for it. You see Ciabatta turns, notices you reaching for it,
Why would I reach for
immediately reaches out, kind of like catches your hand, and he just goes, wait. He kind of lowers your hands down, puts one of his fingers in it, and you watch it fully like swell up real quick, like it expands, and he just goes, as I suspected, water, pure water.
Why would I reach for it? I was looking for papers.
Well, that's what I'm saying. There's papers on the desk and stuff, but like I figured that it was like a matter of curiosity. But you see, he goes, pure water, deadly, but especially to Candians.
I know. Why is it?
He says, yeah, cool. So you see that there's like this kind of mold that's kind of like being like used and stuff around here. It's like what you're finding here in conjunction with not just like water, but this kind of mold is like bioagent stuff. Like somebody's making a weapon, like making weapons, like a weapon.
Right.
Can I tell just from looking around what like field of alchemy we're looking at? I already have a guess, but
sure. I'm gonna say that. Can you just roll me? Do you have points in Arcana?
yeah.
Okay, roll me an Arcana check. I'll say with advantage, please.
Oh, ooh, okay. That's an 18 and a 23.
Okay, so it's a weird blend of alchemy and engineering. So what you're seeing here is not just necessarily this is alchemy verbatim, hands down, because it's not. They're using like the chemical, like, you know, kind of like botany and so they're like, again, they're taking this mold and they're like using this kind of water and making some sort of like agent, almost like poisons and stuff like that. It is very similar to like your like plague crafting in the sense where it's like they make poisons and stuff, but instead of making it like a coating that you would put on a thing, it is you, and you start to see schematics and stuff lying around. You see there are schematics and blueprints to make daggers, to make knives.
So something like a mechanical alchemism more than
Sort of. Well, like I said, let me
Tinker
explain.
with alchemy?
Kind of. It's like if a tinker and an alchemist were in the same room. So the tinker is making like the body of these knives. The alchemist is making the chemical agent that is known as like water. And you see that the overall thing that they're creating is something that is known as water steel daggers. And you see that there's actually like a prototype. So first off, there's a rack of like 3 rungs, right? Where one of those daggers is sitting on the rack. So you have a finished dagger that's on there right now.
I'm gonna take it.
2 of those racks are fully empty. Meaning,
Yeah, I'm fully taking the finished one.
Taking the finished one. Cool. But you immediately realize that if there are 3 rungs and 2 of them are empty, 2 of those knives are in play.
Right. Did I find any initials or names on any papers? That
Um,
was my original.
Do you speak Lacra?
No, for sure not.
You don't speak Lacra? But I'll say this: you don't speak it, but you can definitely tell that you see a whole bunch of documentation and stuff in here, but it's written in Lacra.
So is Lacra more like Spanish, where I can still see a name in English,
It's more like French, but
but it would still look like a name?
yeah, but you also
Or is
see
it more like Japanese, where it's like I can't read that shit at all?
the only thing you see as far as names go is a name that mentions House Blue.
Cheese people.
Oh, blue like BLE. Okay.
He was like, cheese. House Blue, House of some cheddar man or woman. I saw that on what, like the schematics or the journaling, or can I take all that?
You reach for it. You see that he lets you kind of go for the schematics and stuff, like Ciabatta, like, you know, he's fully like, yeah, go for it. You see he's as he's been helping you look, you see he himself finds a shelf and begins like rifling through it and like putting stuff into like a sack.
What stuff?
You see it's like a bunch of files and stuff.
What files?
Do you want to roll a perception check?
Yep.
All right. Roll it with disadvantage though.
Well, it got worse. I don't know anything.
It's hard. It's dark. He's moving quickly. He shoves it into a sack.
Remind me later to check his bag, Frank.
Okay. What? What?
If he's getting secrets that we don't know about, it's beyond the point of this mission.
You're right. Okay, so just a comment here. Did I see the house blue, or did you tell me?
Yeah, look, Frank, look. I can't read any of this because it's in fucking, milk language, but something about House Blue, I don't...
So now here we have Lacrans. Are they Lacrans?
So Lacra is the language of the Dairy Isles. It is like their native language. Do you speak
Dairy Islanders?
Yeah. Do you speak Lacra?
No, I speak Fructarian.
That's why I'm taking them. I'm gonna put them in my bag, hopefully find someone who can read Lacra, and then we'll get them...
No, but I'm saying now we have a Ceresian guard. We have papers written in Lacra, and we've had assassination attempts by Meatlanders disguised as Dairy Islanders. I don't think any one nation is in on this alone.
Oh, probably not. Annabelle tells me that everybody hates my father.
That's what I'm saying. What if Chabicha's out to get your father?
I'm very positive he is. Why do you think I've been so suspicious this whole time?
So why are we still here?
Because we need to find out more
Just to
before we can
suffer?
just go.
You guys are talking. You see Ciabatta He's kind of finished doing his thing, takes a couple of papers, tosses it into lantern, burns it up.
Can I go grab it?
It's while you're talking.
Fuck, this guy sucks.
Yeah, so he does that. You guys swipe up some of the schematics and the stuff that's kind of like there on the table.
And if there's a diary or a journal anywhere.
Okay. There is a journal. It's not much of a diary. It looks like it's a bunch of like research notes.
Taking it.
So you take that. And you see that he goes, there will be an anonymous informant to the Imperial Guard tomorrow. Take this whole place down. And you see he says, do not worry, Candians. Imperial alchemists will come and safely dispose of the poisonous material. And you see he like looks at one of the papers and he goes, I knew it. He says, I knew it. Kind of like looks off into this off there and out the window there, and he says, my friends, what do you know of Primogen Alfredi?
Who?
Yeah, nothing.
Primogen Alfredi. Is your answer who?
Yeah.
You see, he says, like all nations, you have a representative of the Bulbian Church that resides in your kingdom.
No.
He goes, Candian has been lucky enough to not have one because of your
intelligence.
your
Yes.
paganist ways.
Paganist. I'm not getting into this.
He says, ours is Primogen Alfredi, who is said to be a, you see, he puts up like the two air quotes, miracle user. But it is all a fraud. He goes, from what I've seen here, she is not a miracle worker, nor was she even truly a Primogen, I believe.
She does magic.
She was a very competent liar who knew how to flatter the right people. I will say this is something very bad here.
I lean over and I whisper to Frank, if we ever meet her, make sure you offer her one of your drinks.
Okay.
The wide thingy.
Oh, yeah. Got it. We're good. We're there. I'm there.
Got it.
So you guys can give me one last perception or investigation, whichever you prefer. If you like.
Each together? What
Yep.
do you mean?
Either one. You can both roll one, or one of you can give the other one advantage.
What's your perception?
What's my perception? -1.
I got it.
My investigation is +3 though.
Ooh. You said perception?
Or investigation.
Where the hell is perception? Oh, 19.
19? With a 19, you see Chibata says, Alfredi was a master at an ancient Sarisian art of collecting secrets. She had a lot of dirt on a lot of people. He says, blackmail. This room is full of information about the crimes people have done, the ability to destroy careers, to destroy lines and legacies, to unmake people. You see, he says, kind of gets somber for a second. He goes, my homeland is full of honest and decent people. I know the notion of Sarisians are not popular, that our peoples were at war for a long time. In the times in history that Sarisia has allowed itself to be overcome by flatterers and liars, the people who wheel and deal in secrets, the honesty and decency of the common Sarisian has been made a laughing stock. Sarisians need not a panel of liars and whisperers, they need a strong, honest man. He says, but not this. This is not the way of Sarisia.
I'm lost. What is it?
The way that Alfredi, like, because Alfredi being their Bulbian representative is on their, like, because they don't have like a king or a queen, they have a senate, she's on the senate, and she gets her way to make laws, like deals and stuff pass by blackmailing the shit out of them.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that blackmail is here in this room.
Mm-hmm.
So he's saying that, like, this is not how Sarisia does things, where they're made up of, like, good people, like hardworking people. That so with your perception, you actually see a lot of these things are like excerpts and like I would say like the equivalent of like news clippings of like things that probably senators have tried to get rid of to avoid being blackmailed, but clearly Alfredi has it and is using it to basically single-handedly topple all Sarija and make herself like the absolute head.
Can I join him in burning some of these?
Yeah. You see that you help him burn. He goes, well, it looks like this last fiber has been pulled from the nest. And you see that he kind of pats his
I am reading as I go, by the way, so if I find anything interesting, you let me know.
tight. He kind of pats his satchel full of documents. And you see that you guys start to leave the building.
That's it?
Yep.
That's all we went for.
Mm-hmm. You see he goes, and as promised, you see that he reaches into that same satchel, pulls out two two clasped together bracers, hands those to you.
Yes.
And he puts in your hand, Frank, a small satchel of like a small pouch of gold.
Much obliged.
Thank you.
He says, now, my fellow peasants, he goes, let us say I hope to never see you again. At least not in a circumstance like this. He says, please be safe. After all, he goes,
You did say somebody's coming tomorrow to burn the building down? What did you say you were doing earlier?
He says, no, he says, I will send word for an anonymous informant. I will send word from an anonymous informant for the Sarisian or for the Imperial Guard to come to witness all of the illegalities that are here, as far as the water and
Can
the
I
mold.
get an update on that?
He says, absolutely.
Send me a message through the channel, you know.
He says, he's as good as done. He says, until next time. Did you want to say something?
Primogen, do you have any other dirt on her? The Alfredo lady.
None that I have here. But if you wish to help me take her down,
Do you have proof?
Of her blackmail?
Of her blackmail, of her magic?
I have been slowly building a case against Alfredi to topple her entirely. I believe that this is the last missing piece of this puzzle to finally bring Alfredi to the ground.
I feel as though you are digging yourself a very, very deep trench. I don't see you making it alive much longer with the information that you have. If you were to be, where can I find this information to carry on your legacy?
Do I have a deception or a persuasion here?
I can give you nothing more than my honest word of the Princess of Candia. That I will not hunt this down or steal this information for any reason.
Then what need for you do you have it?
The location? If you get murdered tomorrow, I want to know where I can find it to continue on.
What horse in this race do you have to bring Alfredi to her niece? She does not affect
None? None at all, in fact.
Yeah, none, but I don't really like liars. Also, for somebody to hate on magic so much and then use it blindly in front of all of her people, that quite pisses me the fuck off.
You ditch class and make a dummy of yourself to fool your teacher into thinking you... Isn't that lying?
Yeah. The difference is...
But you don't like liars.
That's Mr. Chocolate Bunny Man. Not my people. Not the people that count on me every day to get them through their lives. Not the people who I am supposed to be the leader of. Fuck Bunny Man, okay? She's a bitch.
Give me a persuasion check, please.
Rolling with Dookie.
And I will say you can do it with advantage. You had disadvantage there for a second, but
Oh, what are we doing?
persuasion.
Persuasion. 15.
15. You see, he says, "If that is a path you wish to take, so be it."
Mark my words. Anything fall beyond you, I will be right by your side, or rather, over your grave, continuing on.
So be it. Though the location of this information changes regularly, should I meet my demise at the end of a bread knife, my contacts will get in touch with you. The channels that you use to contact me and vice versa will guide you, but you will need to make your way to Sarisha.
That I can make a deal with. And I stick out my hand.
Okay. He reaches out and he shakes his hand. He shakes your hand. Tight. All right. So you guys do that. You guys head back over to like where the wall was, where the gate is now open. You see that like.
I feel so bad. What if Bunny Man could like hear all that?
You see that like he gets back to the body that like was left by the gate there.
Oh my god, he killed somebody. Fuck.
You see that he takes it like whatever. You see he does that. Pulls out another bag that's been folded up inside of his satchel. Whew, like flips it open. You see he starts to take one of his gladiuses out, and he starts to literally like dismember the body into smaller pieces, throwing them all into the bag. Ties the bag up.
Frank like taps Korish on the shoulder. And is like, sliced bread, like I said.
And then you see that he like kind of sets the bag off to the side there. Fully like whips out a piece of like tinder, ignites it, sets the whole thing on fire. Fully cooks the bread. The bread man up.
Guess you could say he's toast. Oh my god, I cannot indulge in this.
You see, he looks like at the fire, looks up at the moon, and he goes, "Should be enough time to make short work of our friend here before the authorities are well on their way." And he says, you know, weaker things have been the basis of greater alliances in the past in the past war of shared secrets. He goes, Sarisha will remember this. And you see he says like he's farewell.
He walks away and I'm like, I don't understand a word he just said.
He said dog meat will remember this.
Red arrives at the Cathedral of Saint Arugula.
Oh, I don't like it.
You still here, Brett?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. You see beautiful green, like leafy vegetable cathedral. You walk in, it's nighttime. You see that the Pontifex herself, who has like yet to make a real appearance this whole time, looks at you from her throne up in the dais. The cathedral windows are like glowing as a result of like the like stars and the moonlight hitting this kind of like fruit and vegetable stained glass. You see that there are like priests milling around, some like knights of the church. You approach with the Archbishop Onion Patch. She looks at you and she says, "Captain," she says, "Captain Gumball, approach."
I'm gonna walk up to her.
You see like again this like gorgeous, all like white is like the torchlight in this building or whatever and whatnot, just giving this like kind of ominous, like holy kind of vibe. And you see that she says, "Commander, from where does the strength of this church come?" You see she's like kind of staring up out of the windows and looking up into the like upper pew, like the upper upstairs of the pews where you see like priests who are like kind of doing like a late night communion, you know, taking care of the church and whatnot. But yeah, she poses that question: where does the strength of this church come from?
The people? That's my answer because I honestly don't know.
She says, "No, Commander. You're a captain. She says, "No, captain. The strength of this church comes from the bulb, and the very people that it shines on. The bulb and the people that it shines on." Can you make an insight, please?
Yeah. Six. I can't roll tonight.
She, even with a 6, I can tell you this, just not as much detail. She is livid. She is pissed. She stands up on the throne, kind of begins to slowly walk down the stairs towards you, and she says, "The belief of the people's faith in us, is as ineffable and ephemeral as the act of the bulb itself. Its presence is not seen on this world. It shines from above, and though its light is everywhere, it cannot be touched nor felt. Such is the power of this church, Captain. And if the people see our subjects, our appointed officials, marching through the streets, with a victim, as you would say, as if we are incapable of protecting those who are touched by the bulb, do you think their belief will stand?"
I would assume not, Madam Ponce.
Smack across the face. "You call for this matter to be settled at the hands of someone other than the church, in the heart of the Concord, in this licentious capital where money and favors are traded to and fro, this impious place. They watched one of ours brought low by you."
Wait, out of character, what is she talking about?
She's referring to she apparently knows that you've been making it a big deal to like bring forth the whoever's been trying to assassinate Amethar. She basically is saying that like you won't let the church handle it because they've always handled it. So for one, and B, she seems to be referring to a conversation that you had with Plumbeline a while back.
Which one?
The one where you were referring to stopping the games to bring all of the heads together.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she thinks that you're undermining her essentially.
But she doesn't have any power. What?
Who does? Elizabeth doesn't have power?
Yeah, just the head of the church, right?
The queen.
Yeah, here she's basically God.
Okay.
Which is so
Okay.
gay.
You see, she says, "Will you come to me, Captain? Will you come to me with the church's law? She's with the church's law available for you to be called upon. Our paladins, our priests, our courts, our tribunals of monks and priests. This could have been handled inside the church."
Out of character again. Candia doesn't believe in the church, right?
They don't. Not necessarily, but it was a caveat. It was like a thing that they had to agree to in order to become a part of the Concord. In order to become part of the Empire, they were like, yeah, okay, we'll accept the Bulbian faith as like the faith of the Concord, but here in Candia, we worship all of our different gods and stuff. But like, in order to become a part of the Concord, they had to accept that the Concord's god is the bulb. It would be like
mad as fuck.
it would be like, think about it this way. It would be like, let's say the U.S. was like, in order to become part of the United States, you had to accept Jesus Christ as the only God that exists inside the U.S. Can you worship other gods inside the U.S.? Sure, but it's frowned upon. And as soon as you leave whatever state you're in, it's no bueno. As soon as you leave, it is the bulb, the bulb, the bulb, the bulb. It is Jesus, 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 Jesus. But whatever you do in your house is up to you. The minute you leave that house, it is the bulb. So that's what she's saying.
So pretty much America, anyways.
Got it.
Rip.
Got it. I'm about to make this bitch mad as fuck. Well, madam, you also have to understand, this was a Candian matter that happened on Candian lands before anything else.
Captain, you need to think very carefully about what it is that you are saying right now. Are you a Candian? Or are you the imperial representative of Candia in the Bulbian Church?
As far as I know, Candia does not have a representative in the Bulbian Church. And if it is me now, well then, my loyalty will always lie to Amethar before anything else.
Your loyalty is admirable. And it is for this admirability that this mistake may be exonerated. Your befuddled and foolish action may yet be smoothed over. The church's justice will be administered, regardless of who is to blame for the attempted assassination of your king.
My brother.
Keep in mind, we have already gotten to the root of your problem.
Have you now?
Their punishment will be public, but the sentence will be private, as it should have been.
Well, do you want to tell me who it was?
Our clergy walks these lands without weapons. We walk and are welcomed everywhere. And that is because we maintain our station above all, present a united and holy front. Matters like this threaten the very sanctity of the church. I'll explain this, Captain. Candia, right now, is not in good standing. And as the imperial representative of Candia and the Bulbian Church, this should concern you, and concern you deeply. We have reason to believe that one of your envoy has engaged in witchcraft. And there was an incident, not just on the road of Comida, but in our very own grand tournament, here, inside of these walls. Inside of these borders. An issuing of a piece of witchcraft. Ceresian soldiers spoke, believing that Princess Chorish Rocks has engaged in sorcery.
And sorcery is illegal? I believed it was just frowned upon.
Here in Comida, of all places, you should know. Sorcery is not, it will not be tolerated. Do you
But
know what
not
the...
illegal.
So you tell me, Captain, as I would never let a low-born soldier tell us that a royal princess committed this act. However, when I witnessed it with my own eyes, the son of the rebel trader, Joran Jawbreaker's niece, engage in magic during the grand tournament, I put 2 and 2 together and realized that she was also responsible for the spells cast on the road. She will be tried for witchcraft, Captain.
Spell on the road? What road? Where's that road?
Where is your proof of her being the one who cast the spells on the road?
Are you saying that it wasn't her?
I'm saying that witchcraft in Candia itself. So on the road on the way here, witchcraft in Candia is not illegal. Yes, in Comida it might be, but we were still on Candian grounds.
So you admit she cast so you admit that she has engaged in witchcraft within Comida.
I said no such thing. I am going off of your beliefs here. I wouldn't know. But on Candian lands, she cannot be tried for witchcraft. If it was her.
Fine. You make a solid point. But here in Comida, my word is law.
And again, you would need proof of this.
I have my proof. I asked...
Which is your eyes?
Do you say that my eyes deceive me, Captain?
I'm saying they very well could have. If nobody else saw it, and you were the only one to see it, how is that going to stand up in the court of law?
Do you know what the punishment for sorcery within Comida is, Captain?
No.
You see that she turns and she says, Oliver, dear? He says, it's death, Captain. She says, ah, yes. The punishment for witchcraft within inside of Comida is death, Captain. If what you're saying is something that you believe in, if you truly believe that the princess is as innocent as she is, we all know that it was a Candian in there that was casting magic, for nobody in Comida would dare engage in witchcraft, so it could only mean it was one of the 3 Candians inside of the Grand Melee. So if it wasn't Miss Licorice Rocks, and you're so loyal to your king, it must mean that you are the one casting sorcery inside of this holy ground.
I would do anything to save my king's life, even if it meant risking my own.
Do you admit to the sorcery?
I admit to being put on a fair trial.
Very well. You will stand this trial. But if you are not to stand trial, if you are not to accept your punishment, then we must take all all parties accountable into accountability. Therefore, I call upon your duty as an imperial soldier. You see that she like her staff slams the ground. You hear the clanking of armor. And you see that she says, Captain, as your pontifex, I ask that you escort these knights of the church to effect the arrest of one Princess Licorice Rocks of the House of Jawbreaker. The souls of your very princess and yourself depend on this malevolent behavior and his worship of the Hungry One being stopped at once.
I won't let you arrest her. It was me. I casted the spell.
Now, was that so hard? You see the knights fully walk over, slam your arms behind your back, manacle you, and they march you off into the cellar. And you hear that one final, she says, I had much hopes for you, Captain. Unfortunately, she says, unfortunately, your malice will bring down, she says, will single-handedly bring down that which you hold dear. It is unfortunate. I will need to tell your king that his entire kingdom must be dismantled as a result of your actions. See, if you were noble-born, this could be rescinded, but fortunately, all of House Rocks will join the lowborn they so desperately deserve, or they just so desperately protect. Unfortunate. They march you off into the dungeon. Crazy. You guys arrive back from your little mission there, and you see that as you get in, Amethar returns. So it's all of you, including Calroy. All of you return, obviously, except for Red.
Dad! Oh my god, we found so many cool things. I found papers, and they're in Lachlan. I can't read them. I need your help. You've got to speak Lachlan. Come on, you're like the king.
He says, of course I don't speak Lachlan.
What?
He goes, okay, now that everybody's here.
Wait
a minute.
Where's
So
you
can I start jiggling the eyeball all over the place?
You start to jiggle the eyeball. You literally, like, Calroy's in the room as you guys are sitting there, like, kind of like, wait a minute. You see his pocket just starts kind of going crazy as he reaches in, pulls out the eyeball, and he goes, oh no. He goes, we have a problem. The door opens. The Tart Guard have stepped aside. There are truly an enormous amount of knights in the doorway. You see at the front of them is Commander Grassini. You see that the knight kind of leans over and says, he goes, you see one of the knights leans over to Grassini. He goes, my lord, do you wish to give the sentence or shall I? Grassini says, my lord, King Amethar, I am so very sorry. Princess Licorice Rocks.
Yes?
You have been sentenced by the church. You hear a bunch of people, what the fuck? Like, Amethar stands up, kind of like stands in front of you, like his blade kind of down. You see, Calroy stands up, like, there must be a mistake. You see that, he says, okay, there must be a mistake. On what grounds? You see that Grassini goes, on the grounds for a trial of witchcraft here in the walls of Comida.
Witchcraft? What is this, the fucking 18th century?
You see Amethar steps forward to kind of like, you know, one of these kind of like take me insteads. And you see that Amethar says, like, you see that his eyes wide, kind of like a mix of like actually you look into your dad's eyes that are wide and like full of like starting to cry. Your dad knows what you did. You see that he turns and he goes, he turns to you and he says, if you don't want to go, I won't let them take you. But you must understand what that means for the rest of us. You see that Grassini steps forward, like you see your dad says that and kind of like starts to lift Payment Day off the ground, and in a sense to like he's drawing it, and you see that as he says that, Grassini steps forward, puts the tip of his spear right into the center of your dad's back, like not kind of just like a don't do it kind of thing, and he says, I would do anything for you, but the choice is yours.
But I'm thirsty, Dad. Before I go.
I swear to God, solely if you make Amethar not know what that means.
You see, he says, right.
Can I bring my water bottle?
You see, he turns to Grassini. He says, can the girl get a drink? I mean, you're putting her on. I mean, this could be the last time I see my daughter. You can at least give her a drink, give her some cola. And he says, of course, Amethar, I wouldn't rob her of that. And he says, okay. Reaches down to his belt, unclips the bottle, and he says, I only have the one left, so sets it on the table. He says, enjoy it. And he lets you take it, and he steps aside, and all of the knights flood the room. What do you do with the bottle?
I open it and pretend to take a sip. Pretend to be very much quenched. And I put it on my belt.
Okay. You see that Grassini comes. He starts, like, two of the knights comes are, like, being a little rough. And you see that Grassini says, hey. She is still a princess, after all. He says, I am sorry, princess. This is just a formality. As they manacle behind your back. Well, you're highborn. They wouldn't manacle you from behind your back. They would handle with your hands in front. Damn, crazy. Cool. Insane. So you are, as you are escorted out, you are walked to the church. You guys get to the cathedral. You see that they start to take the manacles off as you approach into the cathedral there. They would never have a highborn walking with manacles on their arms. Because this is like all nobility, and you're counted amongst them, whether you're innocent or guilty. So no one's like that manhandled or nothing when you're kind of come to the door here. The rest of the party joins you into the church. You guys are, like, your family and party are seated there in the front. Plumbeline is there. There's, like, a bunch of other people. Commander Grassini's there. The Pontifex stands up, and you see that she says, the matter of the trial of Princess Licorice Rocks of the House of Rocks, of House Jawbreaker, was scheduled for the morning. However, it has come to my attention that in the night, the concordant emperor, Gustavo Ivano, has passed away in his sleep. May he follow the light of the bulb to paradise and dwell in its glory forever. Amen. You hear the whole church, and it's, like, relatively empty in here, but you just hear, like, all of these voices, amen, 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 amen. The church echoes its sentiment. She looks out and she says, as Pontifex, the emperor passed away prior to the completion of the documents following the grand tournament. However, it is my understanding that his wishes as to who should be named successor were, in fact, made known. If there are any here now who may speak as the truth to these claims, let them speak now. You see that Amethar stands up. I should say this, Red. You've been taken from the cell. Again, this was meant for the morning, but they have to do it tonight. This was meant for the morning. They bring you up, so you're kind of sitting there in the front. You see Red up in the front, fully stripped of all of his armor, just kind of there in his manacles. And so you see that Amethar stands up, and she says, Captain, until you are stripped of your title, that is. Am I under the understanding that you were present and heard the Emperor's words?
That is correct.
And who did the Emperor name as his successor?
Lady Korish, my lady.
She says, very well. You see that she turns to Amethar, again, who stood when she asked if she named anybody. And she goes, Amethar, you were in the room when the Concordant Emperor's successor was named. Who did he name? And you see that he turns, immediately as soon as Red says Korish, he snaps to you, snaps back to Red. Red, you see a look of like, how could you in his eyes. And he says, no, my lady, I was named for the Concordant Emperor. And you see that he cocks his head over to Plumbeline, and she says, Your Holiness, my father, the late Emperor Gustavo Ivano, named Senator Chibata of Silesia as Concordant Emperor. You see a bunch of gasp. Bunch of people in the room. You see that
Is Chibata there?
Chibata is there.
Where?
You see that he's kind of sitting towards the back.
Can I make eye contact with him?
You look towards him. He kind of like looks towards you. There's like a look of like no recognition other than like you are, like he's highborn, you're highborn. Just kind of looks at you, looks right back to the front to continue the proceedings.
I'm sorry. That's what I was apologizing for.
Oh, okay. You say that Amethar says, no, the Emperor Uvano was my friend and my ally, and I will not have his final words be misconstrued. I was named. He asked me to lead the Concord. Bunch of gasps again going around at this thing. You see you see as he says that, Chibata kind of sees all of like this, again, this uproar starting to happen, gives one final look, like gives another look to you, stands up, gives you a small bow, walks out of the front door of the church.
What?
You see that the Pontifex looks confused, startled. She regards Amethar, regards Plumbeline. She doesn't look too fondly at Plumbeline. She looks and she says, we have, seems to be a few competing claims as to the truth of the matter. It is possible that in his addled state, the Emperor Gustavo may have accidentally, or through sickness, named 2 or even 3 successors in his confusion.
Can we prove it?
She says, we have means of determining the truth of these statements.
Oh, by all means.
Very well. She says, but we were already prepared for a trial. Would the Lady Plumbeline consent to swearing upon the Holy Book of Leaves, the relic of Saint Citrina of Candia? And you see that one of the relics on the table that is glowing is Amethar's sister's book, Sister Citrina. Just like it is a full-on magical item of great power that fully compels the truth. You see Plumbeline's eyes go wide, and she goes, I submit to swearing upon the relic of Saint Citrina. She looks over to Amethar and says, Your Majesty. You see Amethar says, it will be my honor. They present the relic, they present the relic. Cool. This is insane. Okay. So, does anybody have any checks that they want to make right now?
Can I make a dex save to pick the lock on my cuffs?
It would be a sleight of hand.
Is there any way for
Yeah,
me
I
to
can
give
do
him
that.
assistance, distracting, or anything?
Mm-mm.
That's fine.
16.
16. You definitely feel it loosening.
Do I notice this happening?
So
I'm gonna
here's
roll
the
a
thing.
stealth.
I
Oh,
will.
no, I'm not.
You won't have to roll a stealth because you rolled a sleight of hand. So I
Yeah.
will say, roll a perception check. He rolled a 16, so your DC is 16.
Okay. Hold on. 14.
You do not, unfortunately.
Can I lock eyes with Frank?
Yeah. So, Frank, what are you doing? So you're currently sitting kind of at these pews here. All of this stuff starts going off. A couple of people start standing up, kind of like in outrage and a little bit of like, big emotion and stuff like that. What is Frank doing in this moment?
Frank is mixing things in bottles
Good.
and like bouncing his leg.
Can I lock eyes, or at least try to?
I'm
with
literally
Frank?
on. I'm
you've-
literally about to be killed for magic. when
You
you're
have
doing magic.
you've seen very little of Frank. He's
It's
kind of an
not
introvert.
magic.
He stays in his lab all the time. You've pretty much only ever seen him when your father summons him and is like, "Hey, how goes that new hair growth tonic?" or something like that. But he drags a lot. He procrastinates and he makes moments last very long, right? You've never seen Frank mixing so fast. He's clearly hurried.
Can I use? So thaumaturgy gives you the ability to boom your voice. Would you grant me the ability to send it at a lowered? Because you're able to place it at other different places, so it seems like it's coming from somewhere else. Specifically, it says boom. But can I bring it down and do a whisper instead into his ear?
There's unfortunately already a spell that does that.
No.
You're thinking of message.
No, because that does it in your
Oh, wait, no.
brain, stupid. This is an actual whisper that if anyone else could hear it, it'd be a possibility. But I'm whispering.
Whisper's verbal component is you whispering at your target.
Mm-hmm.
So you were quite literally whispering at your target. Like, that's the verbal component. So it is whispering.
Mm-hmm.
They just hear it telepathically.
I'm not using whisper. I'm confused.
I'm saying that's what message is.
No, messages you just look at
No.
them and it's in your
I'm
brain.
quite literally telling you that the verbal component in whisper or in message is that you whisper to your target. You whisper a message and they can hear it like 60 feet away, as if it was right next to them.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Go ahead, pull it up.
Okay.
He's right.
I know I'm right. You point your finger towards a creature and whisper a message. The target, and only the target, hears the message and can reply in a whisper that only you can hear. That is the literal whisper spell.
Damn it.
I will tell you what, you're not far from him.
How far?
From Frank. You're like,
How far?
Amethar's probably in the end. Calroy's probably next. You're probably, I lied. You're next to him. You're right next to him.
I bump him.
Okay.
Like with my elbow. Like a hey.
You give him
Frank
a little,
looks up.
I'm trying to think of how to word it and or make the faces. Who else is around? Like, will they hear me if I whisper?
if they're really trying to listen to your conversation, maybe. But like that's
Okay.
checks.
Okay. Frank, I think the Pontifex might be thirsty. That or Elizabeth. All of them. They're all very...
is the Pontifex.
Fuck! The purple one!
Plumbaline. The girl who is plum colored. Plumbaline.
I think they might be thirsty.
Frank just shakes his head.
Up and down or left and right? What the fuck do you mean?
Left and right.
Oh.
Nods is up and down.
That's true.
No, I think.
Give me like 4 seconds. I gotta read 3 different spells.
He's like, shit. All right, let me put a fire in your ass. You see that the Lady the Pontifex has called Lady Plumbeline. The Pontifex has called Lady Plumbeline up to the book, and you see that she says, Lady Plumbeline of House of Anno, did your father name Senator Chibata of Syresia successor to his throne? The book glows with golden light. You see that she kind of like winces a little bit as you see that there's like a small kind of like vacuum suction sucks her hand out of the book. She kind of winces in a little bit of pain and she goes, no, he did not. Kind of pulls her hand away as the light fully shuts off. Pontifex turns to Amethar, who's standing next to her with the book.
You're Amethar.
Yeah, I know. This is a moment where if there's something you want to do, you probably should do it now.
Who all is within 10 feet of me? 10 feet of me.
Me?
Calroy. Honestly, Calroy and Korish.
Okay. I drop a bottle and. Oh wait, hold on. If she whispered, oh wait, no, Korish is Aston. I'm stupid. I drop a bottle in Layman's tiny hut.
What?
You're doing that right now.
Yep.
What do you say? He does a what with a hut? What?
He makes Layman's tiny hut.
What the heck is that?
You're not a tiny hut. I don't know how to spell it. I forget how to spell it.
LEO. Or you can just Google tiny hut. It's a 10-foot hut that nothing can come in and out of except for the people who originated inside of it.
What?
Okay.
What the fuck? How is this helpful right now? Oh my god.
You do that.
Can I fuck? Not that. I don't want to fuck. Okay, I guess tell me what happens next, but can I hold an action?
You can hold an action. You see a bunch of people start to immediately freak out, and she says, there! Do you see? She says, the Candias, we've granted them far too much leeway. They come into Comida, and they bring with them their witchcraft. Do you not see? She says, very well. You see that she says, very well. It seems that it is upon me to hand out this sentence. She says,
Okay.
I apologize, Amethar, but it seems that given that it seems that Candia does not follow our ways of the bulb, thus by taking an oath both legislaturely and verbally, Candia hereby is seceded from the Concord. Its alliance is broken. This is war. The Concord against Candia. Guards, seize them! Do you hear the doors fully slam closed as a bunch of like barricades and stuff start going on the back of the door? What do you want to do?
Can I make a strength check to break out of my cuffs?
Yeah, first I need to ask Sage a question. How does the thingy work? What is it?
It's a 10-foot dome that is opaque from the outside, transparent from the inside, and only the 3 of us in it can move through the walls.
Okay, but if I give someone permission, can they come in? Or like if I touch them?
Only the 3 of us in it can move through the walls.
Well, keep yourself safe. Can I cast darkness and then drink the potion?
You just fucking ink cloud the fucking dome?
Nope, not on me. I'm gonna cast it on the robe or whatever it is that the Pontifex is wearing. The item itself.
You ink cloud. She's not she has a book. Like, what do you mean
What
the
is
robe?
she wearing?
Anything that she's wearing.
Oh, on her. You're casting it on what she's wearing. Okay.
Yeah.
You cast it on her robe, full dark ink. What does the what
It's
is
a
your?
15-foot radius of black.
Oh, just a straight ink. It doesn't look like anything. Just full black
Right,
sphere.
you can't see through it even with dark vision.
Boom.
The only light that can penetrate is magic light of a spell level 3rd or higher.
Right, and she can't cast magic. Sorry.
So
Oh, well, she can, but it's frowned upon.
You see that big old black sphere hits.
Yep, and then can I drink
red
the potion?
immediately. Ting ting! Both of your manacles come off as you're, because you are close enough to be in. It's 15 feet.
Yep.
You are close enough to be in the darkness. As you drop both of those on the ground there, you reach over. You see that they have like you reach over, feeling that there's like a sword leaning against one of the things. It's probably yours, like your issued sword, like weapon. You fully grab, or you have an axe, right? Or you have a sword.
No, it's a sword.
You sword. Okay, you grab your sword from the side there. You do that. You can't see anything quite yet. Do you stay inside or do you step outside of it?
Can I feel around for my armor too?
Not it's so you can probably find your armor, but it takes you a while. It's gonna take you a while to put it on.
Yeah, because it's heavy armor.
Correct.
Oh my god.
And I'm not in the dome that they're
Oh my
in.
god. Oh my god. Before I leave, I don't leave. I cast a spell. I bait and switch. My dad is in this bubble.
It has to be somebody that's 5 feet from you.
Fuck!
you
That's such a
do
dumb
that?
spell. That's so dumb.
Switch it out. Pick something different.
I'm allowed to do that?
What have you
For a
done
mulligan, yeah.
as
You're
of
such a
now?
dick.
Did you drink the potion?
No. I brought it out of my pouch.
Okay, I'm gonna grab your hand.
Never mind. I drank. Why?
Because
No,
it's
that
not
never mind
what
would
you
be a
think
mulligan.
it is.
I didn't hear any of that.
It's not what you think it is.
So you do that, and so we're gonna go ahead and end the episode right here. But of
we're
course,
not. No, we're
I
not.
need.
No, we're
Oh,
not.
okay. What do you want to do?
I want my dad out of there. It's what I want to fucking do.
I wonder why I gave the potion to your dad.
So, I run up to my dad and I give him the potion.
Okay. He takes it. You go to give it to him, and he doesn't take it from you.
Why not?
Give me an insight check.
Okay. I think my insight's a 1. Oh, my insight's a +4. I would have shit that one off. 21.
21. You run up to get with the bottle in your hand. Go to give it to your dad. Your dad's hand comes up, pushes it back towards you. As you get to him, he looks over your head. You see coming from the raft, like the top rafters, as well as the door, as the doors are closed behind them, are a bunch of different guards. You see coming out from the side room. So not the one. There's 2 rooms that are behind the Pontifex. One goes down into the cellar where the kind of like jail is. The other one is kind of like a living quarters. Exiting it from there, a very clearly like magically blessed Sir Carradine Deeproot comes in out from the side there. You are fully outnumbered and outgunned by a lot. Your dad sees that, looks back down at you, and he says, like, he knows what is about to ensue. And with a 20, what was it, insight? 21 insight, you know that he knows you're going to probably need it more than he does.
I'm not allowed to drink it. So that's gay.
Why are you not allowed to drink it?
Sage just said not to.
You can
I
still
just
drink
stopped you from drinking it inside of the hut.
I don't. Can you just tell me what it is? Because this is dumb that I don't know.
The tiny hut?
No, the
It's an invisibility potion.
But why did you not want me to drink it?
Because it's not an invisibility potion.
Oh shit!
What is it? What is it?
It's a Misty Step potion.
Oh, okay.
Hold on, let me pull up Misty Step.
It's a
Misty Step
short range teleport.
Develops you when you teleport 30 in any direction 30 feet.
Right, I get it. Can you pull it up so I can read it real quick?
He just told you what it was.
Right, I want to read it.
But is Korish gonna know this?
That's what I'm saying. She's already
Oh.
left the hut.
Yeah.
I know, I'm not gonna have any idea, but I was originally trying to give it to my dad. Hold on. You teleport? That's it. I just teleported.
Yeah, it's a short range teleport.
How long does the hut thing last for?
8 hours.
8 hours and nothing can touch it. Like y'all just
Nothing
gonna
can
stand
come inside of it
That's what I'm
except for
saying.
us three.
Y'all gonna just stand in there for 8 hours?
No.
What was your plan here, Sage?
To give all of you invisibility and run.
Oh, see that works. But I gotta get my dad in.
So you guys do that because we gotta. I'm watching the turn economy here. So your dad kind of gives you the potion to keep. He fully draws payment day as you see an onslaught of knights coming in from one side. Sir Karen is flanking you from the side there. And of course you have to end this episode
No, we don't.
in
We're
very
gonna end right
in
now.
a nice compelling way, and that is that I need each and every one of you to roll initiative. Guys, that's all for us. That's all from us here at the Adventurers Guide. Tune in next time where we see how this shit show turns out. Probably bad.
Ooh, I have a plus
Probably not very good, but we have hope. In any case, this has been your Adventurers Guide, reminding you that in fact it could always be worse. Catch you next time. Goodbye.
Love you